And a very, very happy Saturday evening to you, my darlings. Welcome on in tonight. Revan's nice and early in chat there. Hamster, how you doing? Welcome in. Noob, good morning to you. Good evening to you. And sis, don't you worry about bugging me. That's absolutely fine. I thought it was a very funny librarian meme. A wandering Brummy has entered the chat. Well, do we want to start him off this early, really? Where is everyone? Are they all off playing Stellaris? Is that truly what's happening right now? Well, tonight, I'm very, very excited to introduce you to one of my new favourite streamers. He is absolutely brilliant, and I better unmute him, actually, because I can see him getting ready. So, I'm going to introduce you all now to DustMonkeyGames. Please, everyone, give a warm welcome to my guest tonight, and I'm going to change over to the right screen. Dust, how are you doing this evening?
I'm very good this morning.
This morning? So, oh, well, yes, I'm sorry. We're at the opposite ends of the globe. And
I know, isn't that amazing?
It is pretty brilliant. Welcome in, Wills. How you doing? And Noob would just like everyone to know that he is not a Brummy, so therefore...
He's not a Brummy, and he's also not a Tory. He's of two things he's very specific on.
Yes, have you had experience with this before as well?
Yeah, well, mainly whenever I go into chat, he just goes, DustMonkey's a proper Tory, and I have to go, no!
Oh, I love to see it. I love to do it. How you doing this morning, man? Good morning to you. Thank you so much for agreeing to be on this podcast with me.
Thanks for asking to have me on. This is like my second ever podcast. So
Ooh, how'd the first one go? Because that should be pretty indicative of how the second one's going to go.
Yeah, first one went fine. Yeah. I mean, in fact, yeah. So when you asked me, I was like, oh, good. I've got like the one I can fuck up under my belt.
I thought you were going to say this one. I was like, go for it.
No. So...
No, well, we are going to be discussing a few things tonight. Mainly, I want to focus on like the beginning of your streaming journey, how you were introduced to Twitch, what you think of Twitch, and your thoughts going forward. And yes,
am I allowed to be horribly honest? Like, can I just be really blunt?
Yes.
Is super bluntness allowed in here?
What do we reckon, chat? We in the mood for a little bit of bluntness tonight? Do we want some sugar coating, some sweetness? What level are we feeling? Joko, Black Sheep, Hattie, Gravity, and Egg-Based, welcome on in as well. How you guys all doing tonight? That's okay, Egg-Based. You don't need to catch the start of the stream. It's all good. Hattie would encourage you to swear a lot, so go for it.
Okay,
they're
I'll
also.
just do my usual.
Would you like to introduce us to Steve to begin with? Gravity has just noticed Steve.
Oh, is that a judge uniform in the background? Yeah. So for anyone wondering, this is my sort of co-host on my stream. His name is Steve. He's a very also I'm a costume and prop designer. I have a lot of mannequins. They're all called Steve. Technically, this is Steve 2, but he's the only one with a head and arms. The other ones have no heads or arms. So they're like a working mannequin. So I put something on there when I'm doing like weathering, or if I want to look how something's going to sit, or like attach stuff to it. This is like my finished mannequin, where I take photos or I put stuff on and be like, okay, how's that? Did that work? I don't know. But it's meant to be my clean one. It's not clean anymore. It's, Steve has seen some shit. Anyway, so at the moment, I change what Steve wears. But at the moment, Steve has decided he wanted to be a mod for my Twitch. So I was like, if you're going to be a mod for my Twitch, Steve, you have to, represent the law. So I guess here he is, representing a very fair judicial system by dressing as Judge Dredd. Although technically, he's not actually Judge Dredd, because if I get this,
he's got a patch.
He's Judge Dust.
That's pretty awesome.
I thought it's meant to be your surname, but I just can't imagine Judge Monkey being taken seriously on the hard streets of a dystopian future. So we've gone with Judge Dust. It's just a fighting chance.
I can't imagine that. Yeah, Judge Monkey. That sounds brilliant.
Yeah. Like, who's that? Judge Monkey. Oh, we'll be fine. We'll be fine. Monkey's very easy to deal with. Just throw a banana and it'll go away.
CEO, my darling, thank you for the 10-month resub, and good evening to you, Mum. Mum, I would like to introduce you to my friend Dust. Dust, say hello to my mother.
Oh, hi, Mum.
There we go. And see what we're going to do today. Completely armless. Yes, indeed. So, adventurer, welcome on in. Let's discuss you a little bit. Let's go into a bit of an introduction of you. So, you've been streaming for 8 months now.
Yes, 8 glorious months.
8 beautiful months. Speaking of, Ben just managed to resub for 8 months. That was perfect timing, Ben. Thank you very much, darling. Thank you so much for that resub. Welcome on in, and Mexi. And how have you been finding the first 8 months of Twitch?
I love it. I think Twitch is amazing. It's not without its problems from a myriad of different ways. But I really enjoy it. I mean, I started Twitch because obviously lockdown and COVID and everything sort of killed off my costume business quite a bit. And one of the things that I had with my costume business is I had like a community based around it, really, both on Facebook and Instagram.
Yes.
So obviously, with my costume business dying and my creative energy basically being sucked out of me, I had lost my main form of content creation, which obviously meant I also lost my main way of interacting with my community.
Yeah.
So I was like, okay, well, I can't be bothered to go into the workshop. I've got no creative energy. I've got no customer projects to work on because all of my projects are linked to people either making films, making TV shows, or running events. And obviously, the event industry has never reopened yet. That's still dead around the entire world.
Even here, we're struggling with festivals still.
Yeah, and TV and film obviously had huge delays. So a lot of projects I was attached to have completely just fallen. They've just vanished. So I was like, okay, a bit of a quandary here. I don't really want to let everything die. I could do more YouTube videos, but I kind of just want to like sit and chat to people. And then someone reminded me like, oh, Twitch is a thing, you know. So I thought, okay, cool, I'll do Twitch. And I made the decision very early on. I didn't want it to be like an arts Twitch. I didn't want to do a Twitch where it's me making stuff.
Okay.
Mainly because setting up a workshop that's designed as a functional workshop to setting it up as a workshop designed for filming, they are very, very different things. And I don't have the workshop space to completely like move everything and make it a filming workshop. So I thought, okay, I'll do one that's more about me and trying to make people laugh and give people a space they can go to that isn't that is like, you know, distracts them from like all the mundane, horrible, boring shit in the real world.
Yeah.
So that was the plan. I don't know how well it's gone. Okay,
looks to be going pretty well. I mean, from my end of things.
We're having this chat, so I must be doing okay.
Oh. So what kind of games genres do you go for on Twitch? What can people expect to see if they shuffle over to your channel using ! Dust right now?
If they come to my channel, they will get a myriad of things. It's a bit of a chaotic space because you could come in at one point and find me analytically breaking down a protagonist's suit of armor and explaining how it is a good or bad suit of armor depending on where the game is set. Is it functional? Is it historically accurate? And whatnot. Or you can come in to me calling someone in chat a cunt in a friendly way. So, you know, it's myriad because you can come in for educational content, or next thing you know, I'm just going full mad. I'm basically just like a crazed monkey. So yeah, it's a weird mix of the two. I'm also an aspiring voice actor, so more often than not, you'll come into me doing a plethora of very strange voices. Some of them are impressions, some of them you might recognize. But yeah, so I tend to focus on single player immersive story driven games for a number of reasons. One, I can pause them. I'm very, very high on the chat interaction. So the ability to pause a game and actually like discuss either what's just happened in the game or discuss what's going on in chat, or quite often I get people in chat asking questions. So like the other day I had a question, who would win in a fight, a unit of hoplites or a longship crew from like the Danelaw sort of period?
What was the answer?
So, well, that one was quite tricky because I had to analyze. Well, the hoplites of course have got inferior armor. If we assume that these guys are both groups are the best equipped they can be, hoplites have inferior armor, but probably have a much better training regime. Because obviously hoplites were professional soldiers, whereas Danelaw time Vikings, although I mean you obviously got professional Vikings. I hate using the word Viking; it's not the right word, but for the sake of the conversation, you know, if we assume they're Huskarls, then they are their version of professional, although their training would not have been quite as strict as, say, hoplites from Sparta or Athens or wherever. But they do have the equipment advantage. They would also, if we look at rough sizes from different periods, they would have a slight size advantage. So you've got size advantage, you've got equipment advantage versus training as a unit. So then it sort of came down to like the circumstances of the fight. You know, like where are they fighting? How are they fighting? So anyway, it ended up me basically going, if the Norse managed to break the phalanx, then it would probably become a bit of a massacre. If they can't break the phalanx, then they're absolutely fucked.
That is very,
anyway,
very
that was that was where I sort of came down to it. It all depends if they can get past the fucking phalanx, because a Norse shield wall is not going to beat a phalanx because of the pikes. They're not gonna get any range anyway. So that was where that went. Anyway, so yeah, so stuff like that happens in chat where people start asking me stuff, or people in chat, they come into chat and their only knowledge of anything historical is what TV or films have told them. So I had someone come in and go, oh, the reason the Saxons lost so many fights in the Danelaw period is because they lost their shields so often. And I went, what? They lost their shields so often? And they went, yeah, I was watching The Last Kingdom and the Saxons always seem to get their shields taken off them. And I was like, oh, that's a fucking TV show. So then I had to explain how actually in that period, like if you were to put a Saxon up against a Norse, you would really struggle to tell them apart because their actual equipment would be very, very similar. Yeah. And the only reason the films give the Saxons, like in The Last Kingdom, for example, or the TV show Vikings, the only reason they make the Saxons look so radically different to the Norse is that so that an uneducated audience can very quickly go, oh, goody, baddie, got it.
Yes, yeah, for sure. You get a lot of the kind of the preemptive attitude of people coming in being like, I know history, I watched Game of Thrones.
Yep, or I'm playing... So one of the things I do as well with Valhalla, so I enjoy the games I play, but I do rant about them a lot.
Of course.
So, So I'll be playing Valhalla and someone will go, oh, why don't you use a Danax in the game? So I'll go and equip a Danax and go, this is why. And then the Danax is like the axe head.
It's like huge.
It's enormous. And then so hang on, 1 second.
Get the real thing. Yes. This is why we're friends, chat. So
then I go, well, no, this is a Danax. Look, it's smaller than the size of my hand. Why is it in TV and film, in order to make the audience be like impressed with the weapon, does it have to be ridiculously oversized? Like someone competently using an axe that isn't just disgustingly large would impress me way more. Like imagine that like someone in a film you see like walking up with an axe like this. Everyone watching would be like, that's not a very big axe. And then in one swing they've just fucking like full on taken a guy's ribs out and they're like, oh my god. It's like the weapons aren't oversized for a reason. Like this is how they function. So someone will ask why I didn't use a Danax. I'll pull out my actual Danax that I fought competitively with for like 7 years and go, because this is a Danax and I've actually put people in hospital using this. Like you don't need some 8 kilo like.
You don't need like a 1.5 meter long sword. No, probably actually.
No, that's something I found in Valhalla the other day. They had it was a Pict with a like 13th century halberd on like a 9-foot pole, and I was like, hang on, we're in the Danelaw period, you're a Pict, you've got a halberd apparently of sort of like early medieval design, and it's on a 9-foot haft. What the fuck is this?
That's just a game designer having a good day.
Well, good day, or you know, someone had told them they weren't that well equipped that morning. They were like, I'll show them. I'll make the biggest fucking weapon anyone's ever seen.
Half size matter. Yes, it does, Black Sheep. Yes, it does. So
anyway, so I've got loads of stuff like that. I've got a Norse shield in this room. I've got my medieval weapons in here. One of the things actually I've said to chat recently is anyone who in my community, obviously, same as you, you've got a very supportive community. But I've said any support I get at the moment from the community, what I want to start doing is actually getting more weapons that I've used competitively at some point. Just so that instead of just because I primarily use hafted weapons, so axes, polearm axes, poleaxe, halberd, hand axe, etc. I don't use stuff like swords and falchions, although I have fought with swords and falchions. So I kind of want to get more weapons so I can like pull out a bigger variety and be like, okay, so this is a falchion. In my opinion, they should feature more heavily in games. That you never see them in games. Here's how they were used. Blah 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 blah.
Just have to just a quick little interlude here because you triggered the community by calling them supportive. Talon, thank you for the 10 gifted subs to Fitzrum, Benja, Twigs, Emissa Games, Outworld, Cube, Comrade, I can't never say Comrade's full name, Laser Lord, Bish Bash Bosh Boom, and Papa Zelion. Thank you very much for that, Talon. No, stop it! Oh god, now it's a competition. No! Wait, this is a podcast. It's the shush with the subs and the many discussings instead. Stop shouting noob out. It's not my birthday. Oh my, it goes downhill so quickly, man. It goes, I don't have a Danax, Black Sheep. You are welcome to buy me one, sir. Rum, thank you for the 5 gifted subs to Iocane Powder, Captain Rockhab, Fool at Arms, Zilvians, and Stoked. You're getting shouted out because it's your birthday, Noob. Happy birthday to you. The next person who shows heartfelt support is banned. Yes, no, it's not my birthday. Oh my lord, Barker, welcome on in. So, it's just completely de-threaded the conversation for me.
I feel like that was their intention.
They
feel like
do
they're
this
yes,
a lot.
good.
Hamster, thank you for the gifted sub to Yabashido, and I had to say, Ben, thank you for the gifted sub to Mini Shamu before as well, and Vex, thank you for resubbing for the 2nd month. That's lovely.
Can I just call out real quick the fact that you've got someone in here called iocane powder, and they've just said inconceivable. And yesterday I watched that film with my kids.
Oh, really?
That is
What's it from?
It's amazing. What, you don't know what iocane powder
No.
and inconceivable is from? Princess Bride. What
I think I told you I've never seen The Princess Bride.
get the fuck out of this podcast. Go and watch Princess Bride.
Is it on Netflix?
How have you yes! How have you not seen this film?
I don't know. I live alone. I don't have anyone to watch movies with.
You live alone. That's not an excuse. That's an excuse for seeing too many films, not watching not enough.
I like watching movies with people. It's a shared experience for me because I end up
Watch it
watching
on
them
the-
instead of
watch
the
it-
movie for their reactions.
If you don't do film nights with your community, you now have to do Princess Bride as a film night with your
Well, you
community.
do know that legally we can't stream in Discord because of copyright reasons.
No, exactly. That's why you shouldn't do it. But however, if it was to happen,
Talon's just noticed the dread get up in the background of your stream as well. We had a little introduction to Steve before, Talon. I'm just going to let you guys get this out of your systems, just sure. And I did see Iocane come in before. Hello, Iocane. Welcome on in. Fim and Demon and MSR. How are we? Torem. Welcome. Okay. Did my playlist stop playing? You guys scared the Spotify playlist so much it stopped playing. There we go. Don't pretend like that was your... Don't pretend like that was your goal. Cody, hello. Welcome on in. So, communities, huh? Let's talk about community stuff. So, I don't know how to describe mine. How would you describe your community in 3 words?
oh, a bunch of cunts. No, that's not how I describe them.
This is now an M15 rated podcast.
Yeah, I swear you said I did say, can I say cunt in your podcast? You
And
did
I
say it
said
was
no.
okay. What? No, you didn't.
I did.
No, you didn't.
I
I would
did.
remember something like that.
You
Okay,
also
I won't
nearly
say it.
forgot the podcast this morning.
Yeah, but I mean, I wouldn't forget the rules. Okay, I won't say the C word again. Okay,
You've
so
had 2. I'll allow it.
Oh, I've had 2. Okay. Well, so what? From now on, can I say it again, or are we just allowing the 2 that I've said so far?
That's the 2. You're allowed to have the 2. It's.
Okay, cool. The 2's done.
Feel free to
Cool.
sub in the word "gonks." It's almost just as bad.
Okay, I just can't say that word. I feel like if I say that word, I have to go into like my bard mode from D&D. You know.
Please do.
Like, that's not. No. No. You don't want me to be my bard. He's worse than I am. Well, my community, amazing, supportive, and I mean this in like the nicest way possible because I describe myself as dumb. So amazingly supportively dumb, but I am also dumb. So it's not like me being like they're so stupid. It's just being like, oh man, they're adorably dumb, in the same way that I am also dumb. So no, they're amazing. I'm not too sure how I've got such an amazing community, to be honest with you, especially in a very short period of time.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, it's awesome, especially when someone comes in for the first time, and then like a week later, suddenly you realise, oh, they've been here every day since they first came in.
I have had a few like that lately, and it's like the biggest compliment to me when someone comes in and says hello and follows, and then comes back the next stream. I'm like, oh, you're a precious little bean. Look at you coming back.
Yeah, like I had one recently. So they came in as part of a raid, I think, and they're like, oh my god, I love the vibe in here. I'll be back. But like you get that all the time, don't you? You know, I'll be back, and so I always assume people won't be, not in a negative way. It's just more for my own like. If I start to assume they will be, that's when you start getting mental health, being like, well, why aren't they coming back?
I always assume that people are busy and that they have lives beyond Twitch,
exactly.
so I never take it personally.
No, exactly. Like, you know, there's a billion things in the world to be doing. You know, this is, you know, like the last one on the list. So then this person then came back, and they've literally not missed a stream since. But then they'd come in, and then a few other people would come in for the first time, and they'd be like, "Oh, I told my friends about you." And then those people have stuck around. So it's like this person's literally like away from Twitch, has gone to their real life friends and been like, "There's this guy, by the way, I've been watching on Twitch. You have to come and watch him." So that they've come in, they've now become regulars as well, and it's like, "Oh wow, you little cutie."
Oh, that's
like, you know.
amazing.
Anyway, so stuff like that is like, wow. Someone not only did you enjoy what I did, which astounds me. But
Yeah.
you enjoyed it enough to have a conversation in the real world with someone
Yeah.
you actually know.
That is, I had something similar for the first time in my entire career. I was messaging a friend. I used to see her like every week last year for D&D, and she messaged me and she was like, "I've started like this new girl has started at work. We were talking about Twitch and she brought you up," and I went, "What?" And she said, "Yeah, she was talking about like a Brisbane streamer, and she mentioned you, and my friend's response was, yeah, she was my DM for like 18 months, and this other girl was just like, what?" Like,
Oh,
yeah.
you'll love this because it's small world syndrome, which is kind of what you just described, and it's in Australia, which really threw me. So one of my most supportive regulars, she's also a LARPer. But she didn't find me because of my costume stuff and LARP. She found me and then was like, "Oh my god, this guy does LARP and costume stuff." Anyway, so she just started seeing someone, and she has some of my clothing range. So she was wearing my DustMonkey hoodie.
Yeah.
They either went on a date or he came round or something, and he went, "DustMonkey." She's obviously like, "What?" He's like, "You're wearing a DustMonkey top," and she's like, "Yes, do you watch DustMonkey on Twitch?" She's like, "I didn't know he had Twitch. I've been following his costume work for the last 2 years." So she was like, only knows me from Twitch. He only knows me from costuming. But then they've come together and we're like, "I recognize that logo." And I was like, as she told me, and I was like, "Oh my god, that's so cool."
That is brilliant. I absolutely adore that. I'm just going to quickly finish up this hype train because it's finally wound down. Kat, thank you for the gifted sub to Solar Rose. Jeff, thank you for the 100 biddies and for the gifted sub to ADHD Gamer. I appreciate that. And yet, well, with the 100 biddies, I will go buy myself Princess Bride, for fuck's sake. I will, I promise.
Yeah, you better do, because it is a very, very good film.
It's one of those films that just slipped under the radar for me. I also haven't seen A Knight's Tale.
It's more excusable than Princess Bride. It is literally like a fantasy classic. Knight's Tale is actually, I like Knight's Tale, despite some of the issues in it. But I mean, my eldest adores Knight's Tale.
Oh.
We saw he watched Knight's Tale for the first time, and then we took him to Warwick Castle, and Warwick Castle in the summer have like a jousting event. So we saw Knight's Tale, and then we went and watched a jousting event, and he was literally just like,
"Oh my gosh,
Daddy, I want to do jousting." And then he's asking me, like, obviously he's done like competitive, full contact medieval fighting for like 7 years. I want to do jousting, and I was like, "Dude, even I wouldn't do jousting. Jousting is insane. Like, what I do is dangerous, but jousting is like, do you want to die? Because that's how you die."
Yeah, no, thank you. Probably the one thing, the one sport that I wouldn't attempt would be jousting, because A, it's a horse, and B, it's a stick, and C, it's a stick on a horse.
It's absurdly like jousting is insanely expensive. Like I know a couple of people who do jousting. They are all as close to modern nobility as you're gonna get. It's just like, there's a bar to entry to a lot of different things, but the bar to entry for jousting is like, you need fuck you money. That's how much money you need to do jousting.
Yes, I can imagine. Oh my gosh. I was going to ask you about films, right? I know you probably get this quite a lot with your knowledge and obviously how you market yourself on Twitch, but what is... Let's start off with the good one. What's the best representation of medievalism that you've seen in film or TV?
It's probably an unpopular one, but the director's cut of Kingdom of Heaven, I would say, is probably near enough as perfect a wide-known example as I can give. Because the costumes, armor, and weapons in that film are pretty much spot on. There's nothing in that film I can think of from a visual perspective that I was like, other than the whole, catapults hit a wall and fucking explosions happen. Like, but that's you kind
of get that.
Yeah. It's like, okay, fine. You have to ignore that bit. But the director's cut Kingdom of Heaven is absolutely stunning. If anyone sat here right now being like, "Oh, I've seen Kingdom of Heaven, it wasn't very good," you've probably not seen director's cut. Director's cut is over an hour and 15 minutes long.
Sounds good to me.
And it's stunning, and it's very much, and it's open. There's a little interview or like a preamble by Ridley Scott who says, "This is the version of the film that I wanted to release. However, the producers and distributors said it was too long, and I had to cut it down. So I did cut it down, and unfortunately, he filmed it to be that length. So when he was told you have to remove an hour, the only stuff he had to remove, there was no fluff. He's like, well, I've got to remove entire subplots.
Oh gosh.
So when you watch the theatrical release, there's lots of stuff where you're like, huh? Who are you? Oh, where'd that person go? Oh, are we meant to ignore that they vanished? I don't know. And then you watch the full version, and you're like, oh my god, this film makes so much. It is literally a different film.
Okay.
So there's that. There's also a series of films called On the Knight Templar. I think they're Swedish. That's actually based on a book. I think it was a trilogy of books. And again, if you want to watch those in their original state, because when they were re-released for the Western audience, they were all re-edited down into one film. They literally took two films and cut them down into one film.
Why?
And it's so I actually sat down with the producer for this film, and I said, why did you take two very good Swedish films and cut them down to one film? And he said, oh, it was because we didn't think a Western audience would care enough about the subject matter to like buy or watch two separate films. I was like, oh.
That makes no sense.
I was like, but don't you want to get more bang for you? Didn't like you produce that film cost money. Those films cost money. So
Yeah.
two sales versus one sale.
Yes.
Anyway,
so such faith in your product.
Yeah, so I mean, the films are stunning, and what's really good about the films as well is that in the film starts off and they're speaking Swedish. Then they go to Utrama, they go to the Holy Land, and they switch to. I think once they get there, they have all the knights speaking English just for ease. Obviously, the Templar knights are from France, from England, from Germany, so they speak English when they're there. The character Arn then learns Arabic, so there's quite a lot of scenes of him speaking Arabic. And then he finishes his sort of like holy journey. I won't say what happens. And then he goes back to Sweden, and then more stuff happens. There's like 4 or 5 different languages in the film.
Oh my gosh.
It's very well shot. The battle scenes are phenomenal. The attention to detail on costumes and armor are really, really good. So yeah, it's the books are phenomenal. If you get a chance to read the books about Arn the Knight Templar, they're great. But if you can find the original cuts of the two films, so Kingdom of Heaven director's cut is everyone knows this film example of great medievalism in films, and On the Knight Templar is my sort of more independent foreign film, really, really good medieval period set films. So yeah, those would probably be the two.
I like it. Thank you very much for the thought-out response. Gravity's brought up. I mean, the bows in the Battle of Helm's Deep showed people holding them drawn for more than a minute for some reason. No one is strong enough to hold a warbow drawn for more than a few seconds. Would you agree?
No, I actually know he's not a professional longbowman, but I mean he is as close to a professional longbowman as you'll ever meet, and he is a walking mountain. He was a full contact professional medieval fighter as well, but yeah, he travels around all over the place doing longbow demonstrations. He makes the bows, he makes the arrows. He is an absolute monster of a man.
Cool.
And according to because he's also done quite a few like documentary style stuff. Basically, if there's a guy called Jason Kingsley who you may or may not have heard of. I cannot remember his YouTube channel. But he's one of the big YouTube medievalists, and he's had this guy Luke Woods is the name of the archer. He's had him.
Familiar.
So he's had this guy on quite a few times to do, what could a bow pierce? Where does Hollywood get it wrong? Like, can a bow go through this armor? Can it go through that armor?
Did they do a crossbow versus plate armor or something?
They might have done. Jason's YouTube content is both very good and very frequent.
Yeah,
so,
I do believe this was brought
up.
up in the community a couple of months ago, and it caused quite a lot of arguments.
Yeah. So, according to people who know more about the medieval period than me, they describe Luke as having what they would say is a typical longbowman's physique, in that he is fucking massive. And yeah, he could easily, depending on the bow, yeah, he can pull something back and hold it there for a while. Although he's also in the videos stated that the whole Hollywood thing of like pull back and then hold is complete bullshit. Like you know what you don't do that.
Yeah. Yeah.
You literally don't do
Which
that.
is that's what
So-
gravity's followed up with there. Yeah, like someone built
Yeah,
like the
yeah.
rock could hold a warbow for a while, but no one would draw the bow for longer than
Yeah,
necessary.
exactly. So can people do it? Yes. Is there any purpose to doing it?
Would they
No.
do
If
it? No.
anything, if anything, the longer you do it, the more inaccurate you're making yourself.
Yeah, exactly.
And that comes from Luke. I mean, I've done minimal archery, but I mean, he has literally dedicated a large portion of his life to being like medieval good at shooting a bow. So
That's so
he
awesome.
is. Oh yeah, look, at 200 yards, he'll put an arrow through a fucking hole in the helmet. It's yeah.
You have a question in chat.
What's the question?
Here's a question: is dust a southpaw? I don't know what a southpaw is, Gravity.
That's boxing.
Ah.
No, actually, I'm a righty. Despite actually being left-handed, I'm left-handed and left eye strong, but I strike with my right.
I'm the same in pool. I'm right-handed, but in pool I use my left hand. I'm not sure why.
Yeah, so this is I've got your chat up now. So the reason Gravity is asking if I'm a southpaw is that I shoot everything with my left, but in a fight I hit everything with my right. I confuse people. Yeah. I'm when I was trying to be in the UK Army, I was the range instructor's worst enemy because the L85, the British Army Service Rifle, is a bullpup design. And a bullpup design, if you're a left eye shooter, sucks because the spent brass is coming out about like here.
Oh shit. Yeah.
So yeah, it sucks. So I was happy just to take some brass to the face, but the range instructor came and gave me a pirate eye patch and said, "No, you've got to shoot on your,
Oh.
you got to shoot using your right eye because if at this point if you come off the range of fucking like brass burns on your face, it'll be my neck."
Yeah.
So
they put a
so I
little
was
eye
like,
patch on you.
yeah, so they gave me a little pirate eye patch, which I mean I'm very into 18th century pirates, so it kind of worked. Well, 17th century.
Did you just
anyway,
put it on
so,
and kind of look at yourself in the mirror and go, "It's better not awaken anything in me"?
I mean, there was no mirrors on the firing range,
Wow,
but if there was, I mean, I did do a pirate voice for every time every time I made a decent shot, I definitely went "Arr!" and I was told, "Shut up, you're on a firing range."
That is fantastic.
Yeah,
Oh my
I also shaved my head into a mohawk when I was at a 2-week long training down at an army base in the south of the UK. Yeah, I shaved it into a mohawk, which of course went down really well for the. We had to do an escape and evade escape and evade training exercise. So obviously I took my beret off and immediately they were like, right, so we've got the Native American, cool. So we're the cowboys, you're the native. Good luck. That's actually when I first really I injured myself badly doing that. I was running through a river and I didn't realize that there was a rock hidden below the water and I tripped and just went crack into the rock. Turns out though, so I fell over very badly. You were meant to be buddied up with someone. I lost my buddy, and I went and rolled into a bush and just lay there while I watched my knee become 2 knees. It swelled so much, it looked like I had 2 knee joints. So I just lay in a bush, and the only reason I didn't get captured was that they were running past like the sounds of people running through like splashing water, and I was obviously lying in a bush feeling sorry for myself. So the pursuers like ran right past me, like lying there like Peter Griffin, just going. So I ended up managing to limping my way to freedom, which I found to be very amusing.
That is extremely amusing.
Yeah.
Gravity has also recently fallen onto a rock in a river while trout fishing. There you go.
Oh, it happened. Trout are understatedly dangerous. People need to realize the true dangers of trout.
The true danger, they lead you to the rocks and then you just... I think the worst injury I ever had was I did orienteering in high school, and they took us out to a forest and let a bunch of teenagers run loose in the forest, and we had to go out and find markers and note down the code that was on the marker. One of the markers was down a cliff, and I decided that the fastest way to get to the marker was down the cliff. Unfortunately, I made the descent a lot quicker than intended, and kind of just kind of onto the forest floor, and managed to just lay there, and my body is just hurting And my friends have just poked their face over the cliff and gone, "What's the code?" I've read them out the code. We got the most points for the day, but I had to be carried back up the little cliff. That's my only claim to fame. I don't really go outdoors. I live in Australia. There's emus out there. We're not a fan.
Oh, dude, I wouldn't go outdoors if I lived in Australia. Like, you guys live in an environment that just like God just went, death.
But at the same time, quokkas.
What?
Quokkas. Have you not
What is
seen
that?
Have you not seen a quokka before?
I've not been to Australia. Half of what you say, I don't understand.
What? Oh, mate. All right, I'm going to.
Is it the same as a gronk?
Phone. No, a quokka is not a gronk, though. They're tiny ground possums that smile at you. Like, if you, have you seen the
well,
picture,
they sound adorable.
Have you seen the picture of like everyone takes like a selfie with them when they
I
go?
don't know. I just assume any cute thing in Australia like secretly has some inane ability to cause death.
This is literally the one thing that doesn't. I've just sent you a DM.
Because I was always like, oh man, koalas are so cute, and Aussies are like, no.
No, koalas have.
No, they're not.
Bad things about them, but yes, I've sent you a DM. That's a quokka.
Okay, hang on. I want to pull it up and have a look at this thing. Oh, that thing's adorable. Mm-hmm. Oh, but I see in that photo, I mean that thing there, I kind of suspect any minute now it's going to pull a knife out on me. Like anything that looks too cute, I'm like, yeah, you have got a hidden weapon. Like somewhere, there is a
like
weapon.
It's got a venomous bite or a pouch that does
yeah.
something.
Like if it licks you in the face, it's actually got an acid saliva. You know, just like I just instantly inherently distrustful of anything too cute.
I wish
like
true.
Oh, that's cute. I'm just gonna pull this knife out just in case.
Yeah, just keep your distance, basically. I mean, I've never felt fear. Like one day I was walking through a national park with some friends, and I saw an emu, like a wild emu. I was like, oh, an emu, that's kind of cool. And then like beside it were like these kind of 30 centimeter tall little black and white stripy balls on legs, and I was like, it's got babies. Just leave the area. Run
away.
Just
away.
Leave. If it's got baboos, just don't tell them about platypuses. Says Gravity. Do you know what a platypus is?
Yeah, it's the thing that looks like it was like someone was really stoned and made an animal.
Yeah, they're an interesting little beastie. Gravity works closely with them and sends us lots of pictures of them when he comes across them. And quite an interesting little creature, and you don't actually see them here very much. Are we sure he's never been to Australia? He seems very knowledgeable, says Juff. So you're right on the bat about most of Australian wildlife.
Yeah. Oh, it's cute. It can probably kill me.
It's cute, but it literally explodes if you scare it. Yes. Males are terribly venomous. There we go. Male platypi. Yeah. Oh yes, Gurkle. That's the downside to the quokka, is they're overly I can't say that word. They throw their babies at predators so they can get away.
Wow. Okay, that's a thing. Weaponized children.
Okay, Australians in chat, I need you to help me come up with another cute animal that doesn't Australia very well. What's kookaburras? Like, kookaburras are very cute, and they get fat off of sausages that we're not supposed to feed them, and then they get very comfy with you. And a couple of years ago, we had a guy that trained a koala to come up close to him, and then eventually, after like a year of hand feeding this thing, he managed to get a photo of it with a little hat on its head, like a little cowboy hat. That's the only cute thing I can really think that we could export from Australian wildlife.
We've come up with one thing. What do we win?
It's kookaburras, but they're pretty good. They're the ones that laugh. They're the big, fat, white and brown laughing birds. There's a
Huntsman spider. No, one of your chats said huntsman spider. Don't fucking export huntsman spiders. They're no. Kill it with fire.
I hate huntsman spiders. I had one of them go down my gumboot when I was a kid. I was not a fan. Kangaroos and monocles. No. Magpies. No, they do swoop you. They cut someone's head open this swoop season. Ismail, hello, welcome on in. Little parrots are cute.
We have magpies.
Yes, you guys do have magpies. That's right. What are they? They're directing me to something now. This isn't good. This is Australian wildlife was an interesting topic. Oh, there's a massive peanut gallery. All right, that makes sense as to why they're hecking with us then. All right. What's in pics? What have you sent me, Juffles? What is this tiny possum thing? All right, I'll send you this tiny pygmy possum. I don't think it's real, but let's leave this as the standing. This is the cute Australian animal, pygmy possum. Here you go. Oh, it's a sugar glider, I think. Is it?
Yeah, that's cute.
There we go.
Although again, I'm just waiting for him to pull out like a gun.
Peachy Pod, hello, welcome on in.
You know. Like you can imagine, like if this was like a cartoon or an animated series, this tiny little thing would be the most dangerous of all of them.
Oh, are we thinking like Happy Tree Friend
Oh,
spec?
this little guy reminds me of the really cute animals in the film Madagascar.
Yes. Oh, yes. That's yep.
With King Julian.
Yep. I knew it looked familiar. Looks like a lemur.
Oh yes. Look at how cute he looks, isn't it amazing? Yes, yes. All hail the New York pansies. Oh yes, lovely people. Yeah, this looks like one of King Julian's like little buddies.
Yes. Oh, I haven't seen that movie for a very, very long time.
Oh, I love anything Sacha Baron Cohen's in. A, because he's one of our great comedy exports, and B, because we went to the same school. So that's my link. That's my link there. We're both North London rejects who went to an inherently posh school and did not get on with being at this posh school.
That's understandable.
Yes, this is why we both do funny voices.
So, on the flip side of the coin that we were discussing, what's the best examples you've seen? Give us some of the worst examples you've seen of medieval history being displayed on the big screen.
List any film that says it's... The King! Ugh!
The King?
The King! That piece of shit film.
Oh,
fuck you, Netflix.
Go for it. Just let it out. We're here for
it's
you
the
to
worst.
rant.
It's if anyone doesn't know, the King is very much centered around the Agincourt. It's basically a film with a lot of fluff before the Battle of Agincourt.
Mm-hmm.
That is what it's building up to. It's all building up to possibly the most famous, most well documented historical battles of England versus France. And this is probably the best way of giving you a look into how bad this film is from any semblance of historical accuracy. Number one, I'll ask you a question. What's the most well-known thing about the Battle of Agincourt?
I want to say longbows.
Yeah, right. Longbows. Yeah.
Okay.
So you're thinking in a film where the battle happens, we'd probably see, I don't know, quite a lot of them. Like it'd really focus on how important they were to that battle, right? You definitely wouldn't only see about 30 seconds.
How?
Yeah. How? So, and then another thing, so again, the English method of fighting the French tended to be knights on horse. Knights fought on foot. French, knights on horse, very noble, chivalry, charge.
Mm-hmm.
English knights, nope, on foot, because we're much better at it, and we only take the horse when we're chasing you down. Anyway. So our king at the time is well documented as fighting front and center because he was an absolute mad bastard, in full resplendent armor. So what does the film do? But what if the king wears no armor?
What?
And hides in the woods and then attacks the French wearing no armor? So you sat there going, okay, the king is honestly sat here right now telling his other nobles that he will be fighting in no armor. Let's see how this goes down. Obviously, his nobles do what you expect. Are you fucking mad, sir? To which he goes, but the French will be slowed down in the mud wearing their silly heavy armor, and I will have no armor, so I will be like super quick, like a fucking ninja.
It's a bold strategy,
I'm just sat there like, no, you wouldn't be allowed. I don't care if you were king. The nobles would go, fuck off, we're tying you to a chair. If that is your battle strategy, we are tying you to a chair and leaving you in the camp because you clearly have gone mad. So literally we have fucking King Henry running around wearing a gambeson with a fucking I guess a fucking bec de Corbin I think he had. Anyway, it was awful. So the archers barely feature at all. The armor in the film was pure trash. You've got the King of England, who so famously fought front and center in that battle, not fighting front and center at all. In fact, running around in no armor from the flank. It was like painfully bad. And then there's loads of other stuff that we know historically happened. It just doesn't happen in the film at all. And then there's this really awful bit where the King of France comes to fight the King of England, and he's wearing his heavy armor, and he gets off his horse. He's like, "I would challenge you to single combat," and then immediately starts falling over in the mud because it's too like in like really bad comedy, like falling over in mud.
What?
And then to symbolize the famous, archers grabbing downed French nobles and basically, threatening them. Well, actually killing them. A lot of French nobles who were captured were then killed because there was a concern that they might escape. So and then you have all these French archers jumping on the French king and grabbing him to represent that. But it was just like, oh, fuck off, man. And then the thing that annoyed me so much about it was that like a year prior on Netflix, there was a film about Robert the Bruce. Mm-hmm. And that was like, they went to lengths to get that historically accurate. The armor, the weapons, the combat, everything in that film, like even tiny little historical details they paid tribute to. I was like, oh wow, this is impressive. So when The King was advertised, I was like, oh my god, this is going to be like that last Netflix historical film. That was really, I can't wait. So the day it came out, I was like, yeah, Outlaw King. Yeah, your chat got it, Outlaw King. Yeah. Outlaw King, very good. The King, absolute fucking trash. That's annoyed me. But I mean, that's just one example. I mean, Vikings is pure trash from a historical perspective. And it annoys me no end, like how often you see people now who've, because of Vikings and thinking how cool they all look, have gone and done one of those ancestry.com.
Oh, no.
It turns out I'm 0.5% Norse, and suddenly their Instagram is them with like face paint on and a rune, and they're growing their hair and beard, and they're going, "Oh, I'm a Viking now." It's like you're not a Viking, you're a prick. So.
Oh my lord. Comrade would like to know, what about the battle scene in Henry V from 1989?
Oh, what you mean? What, the old school? Who was that? It was Olive. It was a very famous Shakespearean British actor who played Henry. Oh
Which
god,
one?
what's his
You
name?
guys have like 5 actors.
No. But this guy has gone on to direct a lot of Hollywood stuff.
I see his face.
So can I. Literally, his face is in front of me right now, and I cannot remember his name.
Not the guy that played Professor Lockhart.
I can't remember Professor Lockhart. I can't remember. Kenneth Branagh.
Yeah, that's who I was thinking of too.
Kenneth Branagh. Kenneth Branagh. Yeah.
It was his name. I'm very sorry.
It's just Branagh. Kenneth Branagh. That film was okay, but I find when you start looking back at like historical films from earlier periods, you cut them a lot more slack.
Yes.
Because
they didn't have the same resources that we do.
No, back then it was like
a research standard in terms of, because I'm a historical fiction author as well, and I just I'm so lucky, and I know that I'm so lucky to have the resources that I do, the libraries, the archives, the repositories, the local history societies that I can call them and be like, hey, I need blueprints for this building that was built in 1872 and is probably not there anymore. And they're like, yeah, we've got it down in the archives. We'll have it to you by this afternoon. That wasn't a thing in the 80s or the 90s.
No. But I'll be honest though, one of my favorite medieval films, hands down, is The Adventures of Robin Hood with Errol Flynn.
Really?
It is one of the best examples of the golden era of Hollywood. Nothing in it is historically accurate at all. It is just it's like the sort of adventure Robin Hood tale before that became like a shtick, because it was the first one. It was filmed in like the late 30s.
Yeah.
So so now you look at it like, oh, there's the big banquet fight scene, how cringy. But it's like, no, this was the first one.
This was the OG, yeah.
So it isn't cringy, because this isn't like someone just copying at this point, this isn't a trope. This is the first time they've done it. But also the sets are enormous. The amount of extras in some of the scenes is insane. In the same way that the 1938 film Ivanhoe, I love that film. So when I was a kid, I watched a lot of golden age of cinema films with my grandparents. Mm-hmm. So I have a soft spot for the original Ivanhoe, the original Errol Flynn as Robin Hood. Mm-hmm. So I love those films, and I can watch them and be like, nah, the helmets are wrong, the weapons are wrong, the costumes are wrong. It's all wrong, but it doesn't stop it being a good film.
Yeah. Yep. Does your knowledge extend to films like The Last Samurai? Always wondered how accurate that was. Asks.
Oh, Last Samurai is eerily accurate.
Eerily accurate.
Yeah. So there's a lot of very small samurai cultural details that film uses, but it uses in such a way they're not like look like
It's
something
more that
would be
they're just
happening.
there.
Yeah, it would be happening in the background, and
Yeah.
you're like, oh wow, that's a real fucking small detail to have brought up.
Like what? Can you give us an example? Anything spring to mind?
There's a tea ceremony at one point which is like it's bang on. They show importance to certain trees at certain times of year, which is and again, none of the characters reference it. They'll just be walking past, and in the background there is a very specific tree at a very specific time of year doing a very specific thing, and it's like, oh yeah, that is actually a mess. That is reference like their whole belief system and everything about that. So no, it's phenomenal. The armor in that film the amount of armor they made for that film is ungodly.
It's a lot.
And so obviously in a film, anything worn by a principal character is called hero armor. So obviously you have the hero armor of Tom Cruise's character, of Ken Watanabe's character, and others, and that is the more complex, detailed, and layered armor. That's the stuff that is literally 1-to-1 accurate. And then you've got the background artist stuff, and even the background artist armor is stunning. Like you would have to really fucking nitpick to find problems with the weapons, the armor, even the way they fight. I mean, there's loads of videos of modern day samurai historians or katana experts who have like watched that film and go, no, this film gets this very, very right. So no, Last Samurai is phenomenal. It's also phenomenal despite Tom Cruise. So because Tom Cruise tends well in the same way that Kingdom of Heaven director's cut is phenomenal despite Orlando Bloom.
Yeah.
Last Samurai is amazing despite Tom Cruise. Everything is so good that you can forgive Tom Cruise is in it.
That's a good point. Yeah, Revens has just said The Last Samurai was a good movie. The only downside it had was Tom Cruise.
Yeah. I mean, that is the only downside.
Who would you have preferred to have in that role if you could have had anyone?
I don't know because it's good that he isn't bad in the film, so it isn't like it's so good you can ignore how bad he is. Like he fits in it fine. It's one of the few films where he isn't Tom Cruise. I felt like he was actually acting in that film.
Yeah, I understand.
So yeah. So it's difficult when a film works really well. It's quite difficult to imagine like, oh well, who should have been in that role? Because actually it works.
Yeah.
I mean, in terms of Kingdom of Heaven, you can recast Orlando Bloom like fucking that. I'd fucking put Tom Cruise in that. I mean, the big problem is that in Last Samurai, at no point do you have Tom Cruise giving the mandatory hero speech.
Oh,
doesn't happen. It doesn't happen, and it wouldn't have worked because his character would have had no right giving a speech to the samurai, and they didn't do it. Good, well done, director. But then in Kingdom of Heaven, you've got Orlando Bloom giving the mandatory hero speech to the defenders of Jerusalem, and it's like this guy. If I was stood there, I'd be going, "Yeah, we're all gonna die. We're all gonna die. This is the worst speech ever. If anything, I feel worse than before you started speaking." Fuck. Okay. Right. Is there anyone else? Can someone else talk now? Because I feel like I need to be reassured, and you've just undone that. Yeah. I felt pretty confident in myself. Now I'm just worried that death is happening. So yeah.
This is now starting to ring a bell. Is Kingdom of Heaven the one with Jeremy Irons in it?
Yes, Jeremy Irons is fantastic.
I started watching it and I couldn't stand it. I turned it off. I'll have to.
Yeah, you need to watch. You need to watch the director's cut.
This may.
Yeah, Jeremy Irons as the constable. I know he was the sheriff of Jerusalem, wasn't he?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah,
I just remember Jeremy Irons because he is just. I love Jeremy Irons always. Even in Aragon, I will forgive him for Aragon.
Here's a hang on. I need to get the actor's name because basically the person that plays the King of Jerusalem, no one realizes is playing the King of Jerusalem.
Mm-hmm. We've got a couple of other movies for you to review as well. Chat's lining up some movies in there for you.
There we go. So the King of Jerusalem in Kingdom of Heaven is actually played by Edward Norton.
What?
Yeah, that's Edward Norton behind the. So obviously the King of Jerusalem was famously a leper. So in the films he's wearing a very highly engraved leper mask. But that is Edward Norton. Every single scene is Edward Norton wearing a leper mask. Which no one realizes. Everyone's like, wait, that's Edward Norton?
It's kind of a little bit like Keira Knightley being in Phantom Menace. And we all just acknowledged that and moved on.
Yeah.
Right, so the first one we had was Comrade wants to know what you think about Ran from 1985. Are you familiar with it?
Oh fuck! I have seen that film, but I'm gonna have to. It might be a long ass time ago.
Yeah.
I'm actually gonna Google it to remind myself because I'm
Go for
fairly
it.
sure. Oh, this is the fucking insane samurai epic. That film's this film's amazing. It's
Really?
oh my god, the battle scenes in this. I don't want to know what the budget must have been because they literally had like thousands of like Ashiguru samurai everything. It's stunning. It's I'm fairly sure it was re-released recently, and Peter Jackson produced the distribution of the film.
Okay.
No, it's very, very, very good. It is probably one of the best. Where is it? So it's a film by Akira Kurosawa. Yeah, so obviously it's Akira Kurosawa, who is obviously the most famous Japanese sort of samurai director going. I mean, the recent game Ghost of Tsushima actually released with a Kurosawa mode, and the entire game is in black and white and in Japanese. If you enable, so if you play Ghost of Tsushima in Kurosawa mode, it's all black and white, it's all in Japanese, and it's stunning. And it's equally stunning that a game developer was like, we're going to put a mode in our game paying tribute to the best, most well-known Japanese director of the samurai genre.
That's awesome. So, Ghost of Tsushima was Sucker Punch Studios. I actually have that art book just over to my right of me, and that game just looks really stunning. I do believe that is going to be my offline game.
It's an amazing game. It's well worth. Unfortunately, I thought it would be my game of the year last year, but Last of Us 2 definitely beat it. For a few things that I won't discuss with you, because if you're going to play it, I don't want to. I don't want to spoil anything.
No spoilers. Yeah. I would like to. I love Sucker Punch Studios. They are one of my favorite developers. So I will, kind of like anything they bring out, I'm just like give. So
yeah, I mean, I'll give them full credit. The 90% of the character design and costume and armor design is stunning. 10% is hot trash, but 90% is very good.
Mary, darling, my mic isn't muted, sweetheart. I think you may have muted the stream. Maybe look into that first. Overly Sarcastic Productions has some really fun... Oh, okay, thank you, Gravity. I'll have a look into that. And Peridot's just chucking spoilers left, right, and centre into chat. That sounds about right. Now, the other series people were asking about was the Shogun series from... Hang on, there was an old Shogun series from the 70s? MSR, that's a long time ago.
I don't think I've seen that. I might be adding a film to go and watch.
Shogun. Well, I now have a very long list of movies, Joko. If you're still coming over for movie night, we have a long list of movies to get through now. A director's cut.
Yeah, I don't think I've seen the Shogun series, so I will be hunting them down.
Yes, absolutely. It was based on the James Clavell book. Well, that chat seems to know it, but it was a made-for-TV series. That may be why it's lesser known.
Ah, maybe. That'd be why then. Do
you know Todd from Todd's Workshop on YouTube? Peridot wants to know. Just because you seem to have this odd talent of knowing a lot of people.
Of knowing everyone. I'm gonna check. I'm fairly sure I know who that is because someone sent me. Oh no, okay, I know. I don't know him, but we
of him.
We are in. Yeah, there's. If post COVID, if I wanted to meet Todd, it would be just a case of phoning Jason, going, Jason, can I meet Todd?
Oh man, I live in the wrong country.
I don't know Todd, but in fact, I only came across him when someone sent me a video. Todd did a video on weathering. I think it was like weathering daggers and their scabbards for film. So someone sent me that and said, "Oh, what do you think of this weathering tutorial?"
Yeah.
So that was actually the first time I came across it. He doesn't actually produce a huge amount of content. I think he's genuinely very busy making weapons and swords for armor, for films. So he doesn't make a huge amount of content. But that video, I thought it was well shot and it was some interesting techniques.
Okay.
So no, yeah, he does produce good content, and it's definitely someone I would like to meet.
just casually, yeah, that'd be nice.
Yeah. I'll get my people to phone his people, I'm sure.
Okay, Revens wants to know, what would your favorite weapon in a zombie apocalypse be?
Falchion.
A falchion?
A falchion or a poleaxe.
Yes.
Yeah, not a gun, because you don't need to reload a weapon designed for blunt trauma. And a poleaxe is great, is because the poleaxe is the medieval Swiss Army knife. It's like, do you want to stab someone? Here's a spear. Do you want to hack someone? Here's an axe. Do you want to crush someone? Here's a hammer. Do you want to stab them with the other end? There's a spike on that too. You know, it's just like, what do you want? We've got it all. So yeah, so poleaxes are brilliant. But obviously, you know, if a zombie was to get, you know, closer than you'd want with a polearm. Also, polearms are great at keeping distance, because you can use them like defensively or offensively, and obviously against a zombie, it's great because, you know, you can spike them in the head, they're dead. You can axe them in the head, they're dead. You can crush them in the head, they're dead. You can reverse spike them in the head, they're dead. Or if one manages to run at you, you just use the polearm to keep distance. And zombies aren't strong, so you can then like pin it up against a wall, pull out your bollock dagger, stab him in the face. Job's a good one.
Yeah.
So yeah, so poleaxe.
You are setting off a lot of poleaxe want in the chat now. But Walrus wants his best weapon would be a better warrior to be used to fight in my stead. That's so very you, Walrus, darling. Since we're back on prop weapons, I'll ask again, what is your opinion of the Klingon Batleth?
It's ridiculous. I don't understand how anyone thought that would be a functional weapon. It's fucking sci-fi, like it doesn't matter. But it is just the most ridiculous thing in the world. It's like half the ways of using this, you're gonna end up stabbing yourself. Like it's not big enough either. It's just like a weird. It keeps your arms overly tight to your torso, which none of it makes sense.
It doesn't. No, it's terrible. Jaffa said the best weapon is to throw your children at the zombie quokka style.
Hell no! I'd be throwing myself at the zombies before I'd ever be throwing my children. I'm a last stand parent. I'd be like, you guys run. Daddy's gonna go and kick some ass now. If you don't see me again, just drink rum on my behalf or something, I guess.
Yeah, that sounds good. That's good.
I'm going outside this tent now, and I won't be back for dinner.
I was gonna. Oh shit. I can't remember what I was gonna say. Ben says, "Do you watch Forged in Fire? And if so, what do you think of it?"
I watch it occasionally. I'm fairly sure someone I know was on it, either as a judge or as a contestant. But yeah, I mean, it's like any of those like skill-based reality TV shows. You know, there's lots of high skill, but you know, inherently it ends up getting, you know, shot and edited for maximum like drama.
Yes.
Yeah, I'm not a big fan of reality TV in general. I'd much rather watch. I'd much rather watch like a YouTube tutorial than something made by history. You know, to be like, we have 8 contestants today, they have to make a claymore. You know, and it's just like, okay, off you go make your claymores. And so how interesting can you make that? You know, like, so how's your claymore going? Yeah, I'm just doing the tang right now. It's like, oh, so is the other 7 people.
Yes. Oh, so, look, let's see how much we can shoot this hammering.
Yeah, and then they did that close up of the hammer, like slow motion hitting the sword, then like the spark effect, like. Psh.
Yeah.
And it's like,
well, Ben says they do a decent job of making it interesting. Ben speaking for it. Damascus steel intensifiers.
Yeah, no, I'm not knocking it. The guys in it are very, very skilled. It's just if I have an hour spare, it wouldn't be the thing. I'll be like, oh, I'm gonna sit down and watch Forge and Fire for an hour.
Understandable.
I mean, they're on season like what, 3 or 4 now, so I guess that it's doing well. So.
I don't actually know what the concept is. I assume it's MasterChef for blacksmiths.
Yeah. No, okay. Bang on. You've got it in one. Got it in one.
Thought it might be. And Comrade wanted to know your thoughts on Hornblower. This is just going to be DustMonkey reviews with me being like your MC.
Yeah. I like Hornblower, but if we're talking about like media content from that period, Master and Commander deserves a fucking sequel because that film was perfect. That film was perfect. I want a sequel to that film. Why haven't we got there's like 8 Master and Commander books. It was meant to be a series. The first film didn't make enough money. It made money. It didn't make enough money. And it's like, oh, but it was so good.
Thank you for the follow, Weird Potato Spring Roll. Welcome on in. Yes, Comrade is very, very excited. We also had a second... there we go. Maz wants to know, what did you think of Deadliest Warrior, the old History Channel series?
I fucking loved that show when I was a kid. I thought it was the best. It was like, who would win? A samurai versus a Viking. And then they'd get like some guy from Japan who's like a samurai expert to literally like.
And then someone took that seriously and made For Honor.
Oh yeah, For Honor was awful.
No,
I was sent a beta code for Honor, and I said this game is going to tank and burn. And then it came out and it had all these like news stories come like, oh, For Honor like massively undersells. Yeah, because it's a shit game.
It's terrible.
Like the concept wasn't. I mean, I could get the concept. It basically was Deadliest Warrior, the game.
Yeah.
But the controls were super janky. Like
yeah, I agree.
Visually, it didn't even look that good, and it wasn't. It was all very high fantasy versions of everything it was meant to be portraying. And I mean, obviously, for most people, I don't give a fuck about that. But for me, I was just like, nah. The gameplay was the thing that would let it down. Like, if the gameplay is not good, then you're fucked. And the gameplay for this was just really, really bad. But going back to Deadliest Warrior, I honestly thought that was fucking brilliant. I thought it was so interesting. Obviously, it's a dumb concept. Like, who's going to win?
No.
The fun, actually, the absolute funniest one that I watched, it was Russian special forces versus like Navy SEALs or something. So you got retired Russian special forces, and then you got some retired American special forces, like going through these different like tests and whatnot. And I just thought it was the funniest thing ever, because obviously, like, the cultural differences were very, very obvious, because you had the Russians just be like, just like very quietly, like, Russian. You're like, okay, we go on the shooting range, shoot a gun. Good, done shots. Okay, what is next? And then you had the Americans be like, what? America, and then like it was just like these Russians were just like, why are we here? Money not good enough. So it was just it was just the cultural differences it displayed. Like, I didn't even give a fuck. I didn't give a fuck about who won. I was just like, I want to watch more of these four guys just like not get on.
That does sound like a brilliant mix.
It was because all the other ones are historical, so obviously it was just experts, and what I liked about the show was that the experts, you could tell, were just geeking out with each other.
Oh,
so
yeah,
for like the samurai episode, they had this like massive Japanese guy. I think he was an MMA fighter with Japanese origins, and they gave him a Tetsubo, which is basically a massive Japanese war club covered in iron, what are they? Iron rivets, and it's just a horrific blunt trauma weapon. But he pulls this out, and they're doing like a test of like how much like pound force. I think it was Samurai versus Vikings. So it was, could a Tetsubo break a samurai shield?
Oh yeah.
But all like the Viking, when he got this out, all the Viking guys were like, "Whoa, what's that?" It's like, oh, it's a Tetsubo, and then these guys are like, "Oh my god, it's so cool!" So like that's why I loved their Deadliest Warrior, because it just felt like it was a load of history and weapon nerds all being like, "Ooh."
I mean, isn't that not basically every stream of yours, and every time my chat grabs something between their teeth and runs away with it in my general chat?
Yeah,
I'm
probably.
Like, yeah, this is what we do.
Just a little of weapon geeks. So I love that show. I love that show.
No, that sounds really good. What did you?
I see. Backer's just made a comment reference social coding in Russia, that if you're quiet, you are a peasant, and if you're loud and boisterous, you're a nobility. I actually am. I committed a massive social faux pas. So obviously I've not only have I fought for a number of years at a high level in medieval full contact fighting, but I've also done the commentary for the World Championship events for 2 years. And the premiership, so the club event is called the Bohurt League, and the final of the Bohurt League is called Bohurt Prime, and it happens in Monaco. So just to give you an idea, of how much money apparently this organization has. They hold an event for a sport most people never heard of in the middle of fucking Monaco.
Yeah, all right. Yeah.
Anyway, so there's the night before the tournament. So it's a 1-day tournament, from group stages through to a final. So you fight. It's not like a normal, MMA fight where you have one fight and you're done. You can fight 8 times, 12 times a day. So if you get hurt in an early fight, you go, warrior the fuck up, my man. You're still going. Anyway, so there's an event the night before. It's like a gala event to give people awards for the previous year. And the oligarch who funds everything was there. And obviously I've been, fighting in the sport for 7 years. I've been I've technically been working for him as a commentator for 2 years. I'm there as a person to interview people, to use for interviews, on the main screen for the following day between fights. So I go, right, I'm here. I'm literally being paid to talk to people. I'm going to go and say hi to the oligarch.
Okay.
My co-host slash commentator is also the president of the of HMB, which is the organization, blah blah blah. And he goes, no, I'll introduce you. I was like, okay, fine, whatever, you introduce me. And about an hour and a half go by, and I still haven't been introduced. And I keep saying, you're going to introduce me or not? He's like, oh, I'm waiting for the right time. And it was very obvious that people are very on ice around the oligarch. You know, technically he's not the oligarch; he's the oligarch's son. Anyway, people are very like, oh, be very careful around him. Anyway, I think, well, I'm going to go outside for a bit of fresh air and I love boats, and obviously we were in Monaco. There's lots of boats. I was like, it's getting hot and stuffy in there. I'm going to go outside with a drink and look at some of the boats because I'm bored of the presentations now.
Yep.
And as I walk out the door, he stood there. So I decide, right, we're both alone. I'm just going to say, hi, I'm so-and-so, pleasure to meet you. And that was that. Literally, that was it. So I go over, I say, hi, I'm Callum Walker, I'm one of the commentators. Yeah, lovely to meet you, by the way. Thanks for having me here. Thanks for having me as a commentator for the last 2 years. I'll leave you to your evening. That's it. That's literally maybe 30 seconds. Oh my God, there was an emergency meeting with all the Russians.
What did you do?
I said hi. I broke Russian protocol. In their eyes, I have no right to speak to that oligarch. Literally, like who the fuck are you, you peasant? And all this stuff. But so all this is going on, and obviously, so again, this is the weird social strata of Russia. So you've got all these people who in Russian society are very much here, and they're very angry that they view me as also here, talking to someone who is here. And meanwhile, I'm sat there like this is hilarious because I can point to a house overlooking Monte Carlo, where that's my grandfather's house.
Yeah.
So if you guys are going to start doing the whole you've broken your social class, I'm going to start talking down to you real fast because I'm much closer to that guy than you are, first of all. Second of all, don't fucking pay me to interview and talk to people, not tell me I'm not allowed to talk to anyone, and then be like, you spoke to someone. It's like, you didn't say I couldn't. If there was if you'd said, whatever you do, motherfucker, don't you dare go near don't go near the money. Don't go near the money. I'd have gone, okay, that's the rule. Don't go near the money. No fucking problem. Instead, you didn't say anything and lost your shit when I did. It was so funny. And literally, I woke up the next day to the president of HMB being like, "Oh, we need to chat about last night." I was like, there were 2 of the referees starting fights with locals, and you want to have a conversation about what I did? Okie dokie then. And he was like, yeah, he's like, you've angered all of the highest Russians. And I was like, wow, okay.
Oh dear.
I was like, okie dokie then.
What a story though. That sounds like something out of a novel, getting it almost into a fight with the Russians in Monaco.
I know. Well, I mean, I was wearing a 3-piece suit.
A 3-piece? Oh my gosh. That's a book.
I was like, if there was a fight, and I was like, oh man, I'm finally James Bond. At last. At last, my years of wanting to be a posh English gentleman having adventures with the Russians in Monte Carlo have come true.
There you go. Love that.
All I need now is to be on a casino boat and have to jump overboard and swim for shore. You know, that would be like, that would complete this.
Or jump from one boat onto the roof of another as it goes past in the opposite direction.
Yeah, I mean, I wouldn't try that one. I'm paralyzed in one leg. I don't know how well that would go.
It
would be a very good like Johnny English like comedy spy film.
Yes, true. Also, if this then what? Thank you for the follow. Welcome on in tonight. Now let's turn our attentions to streaming. So
okay.
we've talked history. We've talked inaccurate representations in streaming. I am Johnny's got a bowl of cereal instead of popcorn. Oh boy, we had a conversation and a half about this the other night. I think Discord has just frozen for a second. I'm just gonna wait for you to. Are you back?
I'm back.
You're back. There we go. Discord's having some funny bastards with us, I think. Inaccurate representations in streaming. Okay, let's just dive right on into this one. You've been on Twitch for 8 months, and
I have.
Discord's really not having a bar over this at the moment. We'll see how we go. And I'm still trying to steer the Discord breaking. But we'll be fine. We'll survive. Oh, it's not happy. Discord freezing? That never happens.
Have a look.
Yeah.
Discord freezing? When does that ever happen?
We may have to change server, I think. Because I'm guessing it's hosted in Sydney. Because you are pixels.
Yeah, I've noticed that. I mean, on my end, I seem fine, but if I
Yeah,
look
no.
at the stream, it's like, oh dear.
We may be able to switch server closer to you, I think.
Yeah, maybe. Yeah, I've just done a quick speed test here. I'm on like a lot of internet, so yeah,
Right,
I was worried that maybe one of my kids had been like, "Oh, download a game," you know. So
I'll quickly switch over to this screen so I can happily fiddle with this one. Oh, thank you. Oh, thank you for that very loud noise in my ear, Windows 10. That was lovely of you. Right, I'm just going to change our server closer to you real quick. Yes, you may dance. Go for it. And South Bend, thank you for that follow. Welcome on in. Come on. Okay, there we go. Let's give this a whirl and a half, shall we? All right.
I'm back.
We're back? Okay, that's a bit clearer. There we go. We've now got a server in Europe, so hopefully my connection can hold up. Well, there we go. Yo, welcome in. How you doing? All right. You hate which noise, Maz? The noises off of the doodly doo. Yeah, from Windows 10. For some reason, Windows 10 is just a grog to me. All the other time. Nod, yes, this is a podcast, darling. We're just getting into streaming issues. So I'm just going to open this up to the chat because I've got no lined up questions basically. But chat for streamers, what is something that you would like to ask? Because we are just going to, I think, get straight into some pretty blunt things based on our conversation the other night.
I am famously blunt.
Yes, yes. I'm learning
I am like my favorite weapons, blunt.
I love it. I love it. Rum has a question for both of us. Black Sheep wants to know how practical lightsabers are.
I mean, I feel, yeah. I love Star Wars, but I would never want to use a lightsaber. Other than like very gingerly, like if I do anything wrong, I'm slicing parts of myself off.
That's how I felt when I handled one of my friends had an Albion. It was sharp and I was just, yep. Very
yeah,
sharp.
I mean it's a different though. Like you can catch yourself with a sword or something. It's like, you know, it could suck, or like you could luck out and it's the flat. Lightsabers haven't got a flat. Like
No.
in any way that's hitting you. And like a sword, if it isn't a strong blow, it will bounce off. Lightsaber will just go. Like it doesn't matter how much weight you put behind the blow. If you know, it isn't going to be like donk. Oh, I was lucky, it bounced off. It would go.
You have no arm.
I have no arm. So.
Hello, Liz. Revens would like to know: would you recommend being a streamer as an occupation to your kids?
Depends how we define occupation. Are we saying like recommending your children?
Like if they came to you and they said, "Dad, I want to be a streamer when I grow up."
I would say you want to diversify your financials as much as humanly possible. So I've only been on this 8 months. So it's a bit of a harder question for me because I'm not yet at a point where I could even think about doing it full time. And I think I'm told by people I am considered fast in terms of how I'm doing on Twitch, which is hard for me to really quantify because I've only been on it 8 months. I don't know how long anything's meant to take. All I have is people who have been doing it longer than me going, "You're way ahead where I was."
Yes,
but again, it's hard to quite to quantify that as well. Because it's like, well, are you a good example? Because there's people who are for 4 years are stuck on 5 views. So again, it's been like the thing that really confuses me with Twitch is if I go to like Twitch tracker right now, it will say I'm in the top 0.4% of streamers.
Yes.
And I'm nowhere near being able to financially support myself from Twitch. So how insane is that? It isn't just the top 1%. I'm in the top 0.4%, and I can't financially support myself. So
yeah,
really,
those analytics are very, very interesting because they take into account every single account on Twitch, and the amount of people that make an account, stream once, forget about it. The amount of people that make an account to just sit in chat. A lot of people just chat as viewers, but that'll take all of that in. And I think I heard that if you're over 20-25 viewers, you are in the top. Like you're in the top 1%. Legions of Twitch. Yeah, absolutely. So
yeah, so then if you extrapolate from 0.4% is where I am. So if you look at the people who are really doing well, as in in the amount of money they're earning in any other career, you'd be going, oh yeah, they're at the top of that career. You're looking at the top like what 0.15, which is literally maybe 1,000 people.
Yeah, this is very true. Yeah.
So when it comes to, I mean, this isn't just my kids. When it comes to anyone being like, oh, I'm gonna stream as a career,
Oh.
it's like, well, if you get into it and go, I'm gonna make this my career, you're probably not gonna do great, because
Yeah.
like the mental side of things, if you go into it being like, I'm gonna make money from this, you may not see any money from it for months, years, depending on like what it is you're doing both on stream and off stream. So when I first started doing it, I did it, as I said, because I felt like I had lost a way of communicating with my community, and I wanted to do something that was fun and light-hearted, and brought on my various skill sets, costume design, prop design, historical knowledge, voice acting, put it all together into a bundle, and have it as something that was easy to consume by anyone who wanted to. So that's why I started. The better I've done, the more I've been like, okay, I want to make this. I want to take this from something I was doing just for the funsies, and make it something that I could actually see being a large part of my future. But for anyone who just says like, oh, I want to do it as my career, what do you think? I would say no.
Yes, I would say
because
the same.
because it's exactly the same as someone going, oh, I want to be a rock star, that's gonna be my career. It's like okay,
Like,
well,
I love the ambition, but let's have a real
yeah,
talk
I mean,
about this.
I've done that as well. I was a professional musician for 12 years. I've played Glastonbury Festival. In music terms, I was probably in the top 1% again. Like, how many bands that exist at any one time get to play a festival like Glastonbury?
Yeah.
A handful. So I was a musician at that level, and again, I'm not a musician right now. It didn't work out, but I got closer than most. So it's one of those. Look, if you have a passion and a dream, like, I'm never going to tell anyone not to pursue it, but you absolutely have to go into everything with eyes wide open. And just as importantly, if you are really focusing on like, right, I want to be a musician, and say you even get there, like you get it, right, you've got that album deal, you've been signed. Same with Twitch, in my opinion anyway, you cannot then look at Twitch and go, well, this is my source of income, because Twitch can vanish, as we've seen recently, like that. So so even if you get there, if you think Twitch is going to be like the main thing that financially keeps you going, you need to you're doing it wrong. There's not only is there other formats of content creation, but there's also other business formats you could be doing. Hey, little man,
you got a small one?
You coming in? I can see. Do you want to say hi?
Yeah.
Come on then.
Hi.
I love you too.
Chat, say hello. Hello, darling.
What do you got there, buddy? Oh, it's a gorilla. Oh.
Way down.
So this is my youngest one. He's called Casper. This is his second appearance, by the way. He also appeared while I was playing The Witcher.
Yes. Oh yes.
Yeah, it's the same one. Yeah. You can yeah, he's got like the most raddest like head of like blonde hair right now.
Love it.
Are you showing everyone the monkey? Oh yeah, he's trying to show you the monkey.
Chat is
but anyway,
very much hello.
Oh yeah, I can see. So the monkey with his little monkey. Yeah, this is like monkey inception. It's just like a different size of monkey holding different sizes of monkeys. Of all the toys he's come in with, he's like, a monkey. You can throw him up. Oh my god, that's so cool. Does he swing on that, do you reckon?
Yeah.
Yeah, probably. But yeah, so going back to the Twitch thing, I think if you're gonna do it, you need to make sure that you've got more than one financial source, in my opinion. Just it's just good business practice.
Yeah. We are working on it. But...
You gonna stay here? Or do you wanna go outside?
Stay here.
Stay here. All right. Okay. Well, I guess we're doing the rest of this with Mini Man on me.
Mazza said I didn't sign up for this wholesome content.
Sorry. Yeah, this happens. This is what confuses my community. I go from being like incredibly rude, and then suddenly the door will open, and this like small human will come in and be like, "Hi."
Oh.
Suddenly my entire language has to change.
Well, this might be very interesting to conduct this part of the interview in now. It's like
what with me unable to swear?
Yes, you've got a little filter on your lap.
I'll have to start using the words that the kids are allowed to know. Like, oh, yeah, that's really bum. Yeah.
This is Renee and Dust are now the guests. Time for the main streamer to ask the questions.
Yeah. Oh, here's what's quite funny though. So if I'm in here like working, for example, he'll come in, sit down, and go, "Is the webcam on me?" And I'm like, "What do you mean? Is it that? Well, can they see me?" And I'm like, "I'm not streaming right now." He's like, "Okay." He's like, "Okay."
But the most
But
important question,
first thing he asked, like, is that? Can they see me? How are we doing today? Or like, so my eldest son, who's 5, he loves Battlefront 2. And he comes and plays it sat in here.
Yep.
And so I'll walk out the room, so he's sat, in this setup, playing Battlefront 2, headphones on, the microphone's here. Obviously, he's not streaming or anything.
Yeah.
And then I'll hear like, okay, guys, so today we're doing some Back to Star Wars. And then he'll be talking like, and then I'll put my head in. I'm like, what are you doing? He's like, Dad, I'm on YouTube.
that is
and I'm
so
like,
cute.
I'm like, you're definitely not, but I'm gonna let you run with this.
Yeah.
Oh, that is brilliant. This actually is kind of interesting segue into I was having a conversation with another partnered streamer, a mate of mine, about how we kind of don't know these fields of content creation quite yet because we are the first generation of streamers. So
Are we though? I mean, are we the first generation? I mean, how old is Twitch now? Like 10 years? 10 years?
I don't know.
Since wasn't it called something else first? What are you doing with that, man?
I actually don't know the history of Twitch, to be quite honest, but it's okay. Well, we're not the first generation, but we are kind of we're growing up with it. But the Kidlywinks, they actually are growing up with it, and this will be a viable career path. Like I want to be a fireman, I want to be a librarian, I want to be a content creator. Oh
no, sure. I feel like as it goes. I mean, also like right now, like I think even Twitch is on a learning curve. Like right now, Twitch is very clearly trying to figure out how to make money from itself. Because right now, Twitch doesn't actually make money; it loses money. So they need to figure out how they can make themselves financially viable in the same way that YouTube has. But it took YouTube a long time to figure out how we can make money from this platform. And ultimately, I know people get really, really funny about the whole like Twitch ads. So I just use ad blocker, and it's like you are aware if Twitch doesn't make money, eventually Amazon will go, okay, well that didn't work.
Yeah.
And it will go. So it's like from a purely financial and business perspective, we like as someone who is using Twitch to try and make a career or have a career, you want the platform to do as well as humanly possible. Really, we want it to get to a point where the ad revenue from Twitch is so good that we can stop this whole ridiculous fucking 50% take on subs.
Yes, I agree.
That I disagree with, because Twitch has created an atmosphere whereby communities very much are not tricked isn't the right word, but the atmosphere around Twitch is hype. When a hype train gets going, it's all done to set off certain responses in a human's brain. Oh, this is exciting! I want to help, and then they throw gift subs or whatever. And obviously it's amazing, but you got to bear in mind if someone's spent like $50, throwing gift subs at you. You only see at best 25 of those dollars. Twitch takes 25.
Yes.
So in terms of like a method of supporting a streamer, that's gift subs or sub bombs are actually one of the worst ways of doing it, because of the person at this end thinks, oh, I've just given $50 to support Sky. I love Sky so much, that will really help her, and it does help, but they don't realize that actually half of that Twitch goes, thank you. The streamer will never see this. This is ours.
My rebuttal for that is that I think gift subs and subscriptions themselves are multi-layered. To me, I don't see them as a one-off payment or a payment or anything like that. But I found that they are a gateway. Say if a new person comes in, my community, I can't stop them, so I'm just going to acknowledge this. My community will sub-snipe them a lot of the time. Thank you, Talon, for the $50 direct donation. Taking Dust's advice that direct donos are better. You croc, I'll buy you a beer or something, man. But if a new person comes in, they get sub-sniped, they've got access to the emotes, that then expands the community in a way that feels very inclusive to that new person coming in. So it's not just about
no. Yeah, so I'm just talking from I'm almost removing myself as a streamer.
Yeah. I kind of am too a little bit, because that person coming in has been made to feel like part of the infrastructure, part of the community, and then that it makes them more likely to come back in, if that makes sense, and that financial
Oh, no,
support may
no.
merge into other things, not just
exactly.
subs.
Also, I want to pick up something that Aletheus Live says, which is Aletheus.
There it is.
But Twitch provides all the infrastructure. 50% isn't really that much given the amount Twitch has to do. So I agree on that, and that's why my actual point reference ad revenue is that we need Twitch to get to a point where the ad revenue is equal to or greater than YouTube, so that they can start to pull back on the sub split. Because the ad revenue is the future of Twitch. I mean, and it's very clear that Twitch see ad revenue as their future in terms of financials as well, which is why they're doing this big push. On mandatory ads at the beginning, random ads halfway through.
Oh, I hate it.
And until Twitch have the data and analytics to start showing to like big brands that, hey, this is what ad gets you on Twitch versus ad on YouTube, then the sub thing will stay as it is. And I'm not one of those streamers who's like, oh, it's disgusting, Twitch to 50%. It is what it is. It's a fact of being on Twitch. It's fine. From a supporting a streamer perspective, if that bothers you, there are other ways to support a streamer. In terms of Twitch's own finances, like, as I said, it's very clear that they want to make ad revenue their main source. And I think we are probably a good few years away from that being a thing. But I also do agree, as a streamer, I agree with you that when someone comes in for the first time and someone gives them a sub, within like 15, 20 minutes, half an hour, they instantly are like, oh my god, I felt so welcome. I was in there, I was talking, and suddenly someone got me a gift sub. Wow, what a lovely. I mean, I was going to come back anyway, but now I feel a bit more invested. I'm definitely. When are you on next? You know what I mean? So I totally get your point. I definitely wasn't sat here being like subs bad.
No. I completely get what you're saying.
It's a very nuanced conversation, and it's quite a difficult one to necessarily have as a streamer, because at no point do you want to come across as not being thankful.
I think we know where the better argument is being made there.
Yeah, so I mean, he's speaking way more sense than I ever will. If only we understood him. Wouldn't it be funny, like, if there was a translator, he's actually sat here being like, well, actually, what you want to do is take a percentage from the marketing here and over there, and we're just like, what are you saying?
Oh,
like imagine he's like Stewie Griffin.
Yeah.
He's like, oh, damn it, why don't you understand what I'm saying? And it's like, I'm sorry, little man, you're a genius. We just can't understand you. Huh? Are you blue? Hey, do you want to go get a drink? Chocolate? Yeah, go on then.
Yes, please.
I'll see you in a bit. Pardon? Go ask
Aletheus, you're not being rude and arguing, we're agreeing with you.
Yeah. See you, buddy. There we go. Bribery with chocolates is like 99% of the time going to work.
I mean, it works on me, and I'm 29, so don't expect him to grow out of it.
Yeah. So anyway, I think I pretty much covered that. So yes, if my kid was like, I want to be a streamer, I would probably wait until they were older than 5.
I kind of compare
which is how old my oldest is now.
Yeah, I kind of compare it to like my self-publishing days, because like when I've been in the publishing industry for as long as I have, you kind of learn the ins and outs of it, just like you do with any industry that you're in. And I remember this day, I had a friend over, and he was unemployed at the time, and we'd kind of been like sitting doing some writing together. And I remember him saying to me, oh, I'm going to stop looking for a job. I'm going to write a book, get it published, live off the profits from that book while I write the sequel. And that's probably the fastest way to actually get a big old fuck you response out of me, because it just kind of shows a whole lack of knowledge about something that you can just go out and actually research. And I remember just being like, do you understand what you've just said?
But you get it with everything. It's
so
like I get it.
Yeah,
I get it. It's the same with like costume and prop, where people go like, oh, why don't you just go and work on films? It's like, well, first of all, right now is not a great time for it, and second of all, you don't just walk up to a fucking film studio and go, yo, I do props.
Hire me. I will allow you to hire me.
Yeah. I mean, I'm very lucky in that people have found my work and said, look, I work at Pinewood. If you ever want to, do more film stuff, let me know, and I can literally give you this person's contact details. Your work is amazing. You'll be fine. In fact, it was before I was on Twitch. One of my followers on Instagram went and did a weathering and costume design course at Pinewood
Cool.
Studios, and it was run. I'm going to forget her name now. It's going to really annoy me. But it was run by the woman who won an Oscar for the costume design on Fury Road, Mad Max Fury Road.
Was it Renee April?
No, that's definitely not her name.
But there is a costume designer named Renee April. We keep coming across each other. She did,
right.
she
No,
did
it
some
wasn't-
pretty
no, it
big
wasn't
stuff,
her.
actually. Oi, stop it! Oh, they're just giving me straight donos now, man. Thanks for this.
See,
Go on.
look.
'Tis the season for what? 'Tis the season for chocolate. It's February. Thank you for the $20.
So, see, it's fine. You should have me on more often. It works out well for you. Hang on, I'm gonna get her name purely because if anyone wanted to look her up, she's well worth looking up because her work is. Is it Kathleen Bevan?
Oh.
Jenny Bevan. Jenny Bevan.
Yeah,
Jenny
Maz,
Bevan.
Maz has
Okay.
just tagged us. Yeah, there we go.
Yeah, Jenny Bevan. So it was run by her. So one of the guys who follows me on Instagram was in this course, and then I got an Instagram message in the evening. He's like, "Oh, just to let you know, I'm doing this course at Pinewood." And I was like, "Oh, awesome, buddy! I hope it goes well." He's like, "Oh yeah, it's run by Jenny Bevan." I was like, "Oh my god, Jenny Bevan!" He's like, "Yeah." So I've just shown her your Instagram, and I was like, "What?" And he was like, "Yeah." She says she loves your original designs. They're really good. And I was like, "Was there any negative feedback?" And she was like, "Yeah, she didn't like the goggles you gave one of your characters, but that was it." And I was like, "Oh my god!" The costume designer of Mad Max Fury Road has just been shown my post-apocalyptic costume designs and has gone, "These are really good, but I changed the goggles."
That's
Like
amazing.
that's the negative. Change the goggles. Yeah, I'll fucking change the goggles. Like done. They're in the bin. I burnt them now. They don't even exist anymore. So I was just blown away. Not
That's
only
absolutely incredible.
not only that that was her feedback, but someone that follows my work was like,
Yeah.
"Oh, I'm going to show her DustMonkey stuff." I was like, "Oh, that's so sweet."
That is really lovely.
yeah.
You've just reminded me of a moment that I had with. So I've met an author a couple of times. When I was a self-published author, I was set up with like a little book interview thing in a shopping center. And the day before I went, they're like, "Oh, so these are the other authors you're signing with. There's another independent author, and there's also Hannah Kent." And she wrote a book called Burial Rites back in like 2013, and it was huge. Like it went off. It's basically what every author dreams of having happen to them. And basically now she's a multimillionaire and there is a film adaptation in the works. So I found all that out the night before I met her, and I kind of just sat next to her at the thing, kind of like a stunned mullet. And at one, like, she had this line of people like to sign books for. And then when there was like a bit of a lull, she turned to me and she goes, "So what's your book about?" And I'm like, "No, don't even worry about it. You could buy this shopping center. You don't have to pretend to care. I understand completely." And then a couple of years later, she was running a historical fiction workshop, and I was like, "Yeah, I'm down for that because I've been working on this book since 2017, I think now. This is a historical book." And oh my god, I've just realized that's like 5 years ago. Anyway. Is it 4 years ago? And I went along to this workshop, and I'm kind of just sitting at the back, and I'm just trying to be like, just chill. She's not gonna remember me. Like, that was like 4 years ago. She's not gonna remember me. And at the end of the session, she hands out new copies of her new book to everyone. FJ, thank you for that raid. Welcome on in, everyone. And she's handing out these books, and as I walk up to her, she's like, "Who am I signing to?" I'm like, Renee. She's like, "We've met before," and I was like, "Yes. Yeah, we sat next to each other at a book signing, and I bought a copy of your book." And she was like, "Oh, what did you think?" And I'm like, "It reminded me a lot of Skyrim." And she just gave me this blank look, and I'm like, because there was like snow and like the moors, and she's just looking at me with this blank expression on her face. I'm like, I've just compared Hannah Kent's book to fucking Skyrim, and she's got no idea what I'm talking about. I'm like, "Thanks for the workshop and the book. I'll catch you never." And I've just like kind of walked off with this book like I'm such an idiot. What the?
Oh well.
Oh my god. Yeah. So that
Kind of amazing though.
yeah. Oh, she's so lovely. And I have no doubt whatsoever that if I emailed her right now, because there's a couple of grants that I want to apply for with historical writing and stuff like that. I have no doubt that if I emailed her being like, "Hey, I met you like 4 years ago and made a really weird comparison to Skyrim. Can I please get a professional reference for this grant?" She'd just be like, "Yeah, sure." Like, just one of those people,
probably
just
would.
water off a duck's back kind of thing.
Do it. do it. She's probably forgotten, or she's remembered it. Or you'll say that and she'll be like, so I've played Skyrim.
Yeah.
Really good.
That would be like the ideal response. She's like, so after you said that, I went and played Skyrim. Great game. Great comparison. Thank you for that.
Yeah. I loved it. If you hadn't said anything, I'd never have discovered it. I'm now writing a book for the Elder Scrolls, so thank you.
That would be That would be really, really awesome. FJ, thank you for the raid, darling. Hope you had a good stream. Welcome on in. Oh man, but
I love as this has gone on, my hair has got more and more out of place because I have a habit of doing this, but I forget I have headphones on. So now I just look like a fucking crazed like scientist almost.
You just look like a streamer. Trust me, there's a reason I don't wear my head muffs on stream.
This is what happens when you're in lockdown and all the barbers are shut. So, like normally I look like I'm a fucking reject from Peaky Blinders, whereas now I just look like I'm someone who doesn't know what to do with their hair.
Would you ever cut your own hair or attempt it?
My first ever job was a hairdresser, and the answer to that is still no.
Okay. Because Noob is having roughly the same issue at the moment. I'm trying to get him to cut his hair.
I am famously very specific about who I will let cut my hair. So I had a great barber, and he left and moved 4 hours up north. So I then had to go through like the rigmarole of trying to find another decent barber, and I nothing makes me quite as annoyed as someone who can't cut decent hair. Like if you're a professional barber and you can't follow very explicit instructions, no.
Yes,
anyway,
Brandolski, who's also one of my other streamers, did shave his hair off on stream, which I do believe is clipped, Rand, and it was one of the funniest things I've ever seen in my life. It was
no. I'm not. I used to shave my hair off when I was at university, but no, I don't. I look like a fucking arsehole when I shave my hair off. Number one, and number two. I have, and I keep meaning to get it looked at. I've actually got like a large lump on the back of my head. I call it Bob. Like Nux does in Mad Max Fury Road. He's got those two growths on his neck. Anyway, I do need to go and get that looked at. But I definitely wouldn't shave my head because it would really be obvious that something's not right.
Yeah, that's understandable.
So I should also get that medically checked out.
I would encourage that. Maybe have a look at why Bob is visiting.
Probably. Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
I'll get that looked into. Maybe I'll do a Bob removal stream. Is that allowed?
Probably not. I think that would classify as something against the toss.
Yes, that toss.
I can't really find an end to any spicy details of Twitch. What is the number one mistake you see new streamers making?
Oh, follow for follow.
Oh.
Follow for follow, joining communities that are like, yo, come and I'm gonna do my my old school.
Take the floor.
I'm gonna do my old school cinema. In the old trailers, one man.
Yes.
One cat. You get these old Discord channels. They're not old. They're right now, and you're like, would you like to be the next Shroud? Would you like to hit affiliate in a few days? Would you like to have people you don't know watching your stream but not interacting in your chat at all because actually they're lurking, not really there? Then you'll love our Discord community. We promise within 7 days you will be affiliate. But in return, you have to watch this one guy's stream for 5 months and sub to them. And if you sub to them regularly enough, maybe, just maybe, you'll get a raid that could change your life. So it's stuff like that. It's the predator. It's difficult one because
what was the
people.
Go. Sorry, continue.
So people don't really know how to grow on Twitch. If you go on YouTube right now and type in growth on Twitch in 2021, it will mainly be videos that tell you an absolute bunch of bullshit and don't actually tell you anything that useful. They'll be like, oh, you have to be on TikTok. If you want to grow on Twitch, you have to grow on TikTok. If you want to grow on Twitch, you have to grow on YouTube. If you have to grow on Twitch, you have to grow on Twitter. And I've always likened it to someone saying, if you want to catch a unicorn, first you must catch a unicorn. And it's like, well, how do I catch the first one? I'm not telling you that. I've just told you have to catch one first before you catch one. So if you can't figure out the rest, then fuck you, buddy. There's very little good advice anywhere for how to grow on Twitch.
What would be your number one advice to grow on Twitch?
Number one would be don't follow for follow. A dead follow does nothing for you. you get those people with like 10,000 followers, and then their average view count is 10, and you're like, really? 10,000 followers and only 10 people watch? Like it instantly makes me go, well, you've done something stupid at some point. So that one. But honestly, the thing I found the best is, first of all, someone messaged me recently. Let's see if I can find what I said there.
You gotta do.
I get asked this quite a lot. I don't understand why, really. Okay, yeah, this is the one. This guy messaged me and said, I've come across your streams a few times from someone else. I like this isn't about your stream. I'm trying to get better at streaming. What can I do to grow on Twitch? So my question was simply, what makes you different to other streamers? Because if you can't answer that question as to why people should watch you, what makes you different, you're fucked. Because if your answer is, well, I don't know, then how is anyone else going to know? Mm. If you haven't thought about or don't know what it is that you put on the platform that is unique to what you do, then you're off to a really bad start. So anyway, so I asked, normally if someone asks me a question, I'm the worst person ever. I go back to them with a ton of questions. Like why are you streaming? Mm-hmm. What do you want to get from streaming? What are your goals? What's your 3-month goal? What's your 6-month goal? What's your year goal? What's your 5-year goal? If anything before 5 years is make money from Twitch, you're doing it wrong. Because if you're expecting within 3 months suddenly be like earning a living off Twitch, then either you have a social media that has got a god tier, unlikely, or you have a very misconstrued idea of how Twitch works. So
I'm happy over here being the outlier. I don't fit into any of this. I'm really sorry.
No, but the thing is, you have something that is very unique to you. Like, but again, it's the same thing. But with any rule, that's not the way you do it. You know what I mean? So one of the things you get told all the time, oh, you have to have a cam to grow on Twitch. Well, I can point at several partners who don't have cams.
I streamed. My partner push was 4 months. For 3 of those months, I had no webcam.
I know, exactly. But if you listen to any of the coaches, they will say you have to have a cam.
Yeah.
And so well, hang on, you don't have to have one. Is it potentially harder without one? Maybe. But do you have to have one? No. If anyone asks me what's the first upgrade you'd do, I'll always say upgrade your mic. Audio.
Yes. Good audio. Yep.
Because depending on your content, if you're not a super competitive, very high skill level competitive FPS player, you will get a lot more lurkers. People tend to watch streamers like that because they want to watch someone god tier at a game. They're not watching the person; they're watching the game. Yeah. For people like me or you, a lot more people are actually watching for what we are saying rather than what we are necessarily doing. So we will get a lot more lurkers. Someone who they might be working and they've got the window minimized, but they're listening.
But they'll listen. Yeah, that's how I watch your streams in the morning. Is I'll have you up, but I'm working and lurking because it's music. Like there was one of your streams the other morning that you were just going off about something. It was flails. You were going off at flails, and I was just sitting here laughing while I was working. I was writing a script for a YouTube video, and I was just cracking up laughing because you're going up against a guy with a flail in Valhalla, and we're not pleased about it.
Nothing annoys me more in that game than coming across people using a fucking picture shield and a flail. Like, what is this combo? What is this? Who is responsible for this? Where can I find them? So audio is absolutely key over visuals, in my opinion. Well, I mean, at least for what I do. My first upgrade was audio. The first Twitch pair I went and got this lovely Elgato Wave 3 mic and boom arm. After spending 3 months just doing research.
Yeah.
But yeah, so but it's also complicated though because there's so many different Twitch isn't one thing. So it's very difficult to go do this equals success because, it depends what you want to do, your personality, your time zone, everything.
It's a really good way of looking at it. Twitch is just such a melting pot of different things and
really there's other examples I know where you get streamers who every single thing on their stream is lifted from someone else's. You know, so the way they talk, they've copied from this person. The way they overlay is this person. Their emotes is another person. It's like, well, hang on, none of this is you. This is just you looking at other people, going, what do they do that works? I'll just copy that. You know, so you know that's another thing I wouldn't do. If you're new to Twitch, like I constantly look at other streamers and see like, oh, what do they do that works for them? You know, to maybe inspire something that I could do for me, but it's inspire, not steal.
Oh yeah,
yeah.
Very,
and especially
very
when
big
Twitch
distinction between the two.
Yeah, and Twitch is a small place. If people start to clock that you've outright lifted stuff from another streamer, like yeah, you don't want to get yourself a shitty reputation like before you've even started.
Oh, 100%. Springroll says the reason I watch Dusty is that he's just an awesome person to watch play games, and he is just a funny idiot.
See what I mean? I said in the nicest way possible, my community are dumb. Yeah. That's what I mean. Like, you know, in the nicest way that I am also dumb. I am also an idiot. You know, so
I honestly,
like that's what I'm really glad that Springroll's here to quantify what I said earlier about me thinking not only myself but my community are dumb.
I just want to point out, FJ, I had the bag hype emote before we raided you, and then we raided FJ randomly one night after playing Prophecy of Pendor, which is a warband mod. You know warband. And and so my community are very big on the bagpipes. That's what that little emote is that Juff has put in, because there's this terrible track. It's Prophecy of Pendor Battle Music 13. It's just blaring bagpipes, and I hate it. And we raided FJ one night because he was playing Bannerlord, and I think FJ, you just pulled out the bagpipes. He just pulled out like a set of bagpipes, just completely separately. And so my chat's just like bag hyping the shit out of your chat. And it was just. It was a separate time, FJ, I promise, but the timing of that raid was just absolute perfection.
Perfect timing.
Yeah,
every time.
Get all your bagpipes in. There you go. Yes, Talon, you do remember. Yeah. We are all gronks at heart. I honestly think my community just watches me because they like to make horse-killing puns, because they're just a bigger target. I just aim for them in games. And also I failed a lot of really easy things in games, and I think that just gives them life. So I just,
it's like with me, if at any point of a game involves climbing up a mountain, like my chat are like, any minute now he's gonna fall
popcorn.
and die.
There we go. Yep.
Yeah, so me in heights, I always fall off heights in games, which obviously is ironic, of course, because you know I do in fact have a completely fucked leg. So my, you know, it's always my chat always like, this is how you did your leg, isn't it? You were climbing a mountain in real life and just jumped for no reason. Yeah, going back to stuff I would recommend people don't do. Follow for follow. Don't join any of these discords that promise you the world, because any space like that is designed to benefit one person and one person only, and I promise you are not that person. There's equally a thing that really mildly annoys me because of how predatory it is, and I call it pyramid streaming. We discussed this the other day.
Yes,
and it's those streamers who their entire like marketing pitch of their stream is I raid very small streamers with like 100 people. I only raid small streamers, but I also only raid small streamers who I have seen in my chat. And obviously I have to notice you in my chat to know that you're there, so you have to do whatever you can to be noticed, and which obviously means you get all these small streamers sub bombs. You get all these small streamers who have been led to believe that the only way of making it, you know, is to have someone bigger than you raid you, and that's its own problem. If you look at analytics, like 99% of the time, you get these people. Like if you get like Shroud, like raid some small streamer, does that small streamer suddenly become famous? No, they don't, because they're not equipped to get those people to stick around. But you get all these very, very small people, you know, who, you know, are on 3 viewers, you know, being told by someone with 100, like, oh, well, if I raid you, like it could change everything. And it's like, and it isn't.
That all boils down to streamers seeing viewers as numbers, which is just so wrong. Like,
well, it's that as well, but also a lot of people, like, you know, like it's almost like the numbers are like their defining feature, that their clout. Like, I have 100 average viewers, and if you're really lucky, and you get my attention, maybe I'll raid you, and I'll you know, but I have to see you in my chat first. Got to see you in my chat.
I hate it.
You know, and you're sat there looking at these posts, like, why is like 500 people have liked and commented on this post? Like, and then you know, it's like, and like a load of them will be in the chat being like, oh yeah, I'm here. Oh, they haven't noticed me. 15 subs. Maybe they'll notice me now. And then, like a person will get the raid and they'll be like, oh, it's such a lovely community. They raided me. I can't believe it. It's like, okay, so how are your figures 5 days later? Oh, they're the fucking same. Yes, you literally spent money, sometimes large amounts of money, to get a streamer to notice you under the promise that they might raid you. They've actually raided you. And has it done anything for your stream career? No, it's done fuck all. But, eventually those people will clock on that it doesn't actually work. They'll stop.
But for that one stream, when they get raided, for that one stream, they get to, screenshot their stream summary and plaster it all over Twitter being like, we've made it, boys. I can't believe we've made it here. Couldn't do it without the fam. And that just like...
Well, no, here's where it gets really clever, and why I call it the pyramid stream, is that the person that gets raided will then screenshot something from that raid. They will then post all over social media thanking that streamer. Oh my god, she raided me. I only had 3 viewers and she raided me with 120. And then they tag them all over social media, so then more people see it and go, oh, wow, who's this? What a supportive streamer.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, they don't get the whole like, well, if I have to notice you in my chat, otherwise I won't raid. So it's like it becomes this
pyramid streaming. You're exactly right.
It's pyramid streaming, and it's super predatory. I think it's really quite disgusting practice.
I just want to clarify. I'm not against people sharing their stream summaries and being proud of the work that they've put in, but there comes a point. And that's all I'm going to say on that topic before I make an ass of myself any further. And Soul Adams, you are completely right. If you have to pay for it, do you really want that raid? Because I've seen, in the publishing industry, I've seen people buy reviews. Does that book make the New York Times bestseller list? No, because at its heart, it's garbage. And it just doesn't have the momentum.
It's the same as people who buy bots to falsely boost their views. It's like, you are aware that, like, if you are going for the whole partner push and trying to make this a thing, if you've purchased views, when Twitch look at your analytics, like that
They'll
stuff
see it.
They see it and they go, okay, well, no. So, and bots aren't a community. That's not how you build a community, by having, if I go into someone's stream and they're on like 50 plus views and there's nothing in chat at all, I'm instantly like, no, everyone's like, there's no one in chat.
It depends on what the gameplay is. If someone's doing like professional FPS, I would expect no one to be talking because the streamer isn't going to be paying attention to chat. So there's going to be no back and forth. It's going to be more that first camper streamer that you were talking about who are really, really good at the gameplay.
Yeah.
So I would, if it would depend on the stream content. If I wandered in,
it's variable. But if someone's playing Ghost of Tsushima and chatting away and there's no one in chat, I'd be like, I would be like, this is you're clearly doing the whole same as I do, which is streaming to be chatty and to engage. So yeah, I don't know, but that's a dumb thing. Don't buy bots. It's super obvious, and it really hurts.
And it's very disheartening. I did a smaller podcast at the beginning of this week, just called the Gamer Coffee Chat. And one of the questions that I put to chat was, would you rather 5 active viewers or 100 passive viewers? And every single person in chat said 5 active ones. Every single streamer in chat said they wanted 5 active viewers over triple digits that said nothing. So
no, I'm the same. I mean, I've finished a stream and been like, oh, that was to my mods and gone, oh, that was a quiet stream. And mods have been like, we're talking about. There was like, you had like a 60 view average. But obviously, I'm super engaged with chat. So for me, a quiet stream isn't necessarily how many people are in there. It's how much discussion is going on in chat. So that is my like, is it quiet or not? But then there are other times where like chat's been absolutely like insane to the point where I'm missing fucking so much right now. I have to scroll to try and like, what did I miss? Yeah. So it's variable. No 2 streams are alike, and the definition of what is a quiet stream will vary hugely according to what type of streamer.
Absolutely. I've had nights where I've come off and been like, 2,000 chat messages. Everyone must have just been hanging out and doing stuff tonight. Like, we all have our own thresholds for what counts as quiet and busy and stuff like that. On the other hand, my Anno stream, because everyone was trying to teach me how to play Anno, there was just... at one point, chat did move so quickly that I couldn't keep up, and that was kind of the first time that I actually gave up trying to read chat. Not gave up, but I was bested. And I will admit, and they're gonna love this, but I will admit I was bested by chat. I can read very quickly. That was, I think, one of my main draws when I was a smaller streamer, is that I can read every single message that comes through, almost in Twitch real time with quotation marks around it. But the Anno stream, I couldn't. There was so many messages, and there is slow mode, but I never want to hamper people. I just more need people to know that when it gets to that point, I'm never going to. When it gets to that point, I'm not going to be able to keep up with all the chat messages, and they keep threatening to do this more and more and more, and I'm like, yeah, at some point I'm not going to be able to keep up with the chat messages, and that's, yeah, you get energy from interaction. Exactly, Brickgrit. How you doing? Welcome in. And it's disheartening to me, because I know all these people in chat, and anyone who new comes in, I want to get to know them. And when the chat moves so fast, I'm like, hang on, let me scroll back up and read all of the messages.
Yeah, no, I'm the exact same.
Yeah. That's true, Talon. We could do that. When you have 200 people in a room talking, it's not going to be easy to keep up. Mads, I know. It's this stubbornness of mine where I've always been able to read every single chat message in chat. And I want to keep that going. And it's now getting to the point where I can't. And people told me that this would happen at some point. And I'm like, but what if didn't? What if did keep up with chat? Renee, stubborn never. Or you sit down, sir. It's, Joko says, the problem with slow mode is that it's either still not enough to sufficiently slow it down, or if you actually ask them a question, kind of a lot will happen while they're hamstrung by slow mode to answer it. Exactly that, Joko. Exactly that.
Yeah, I've not used slow mode before. I'd rather it see things when they were asked than like you see a question and answer it and they're like, that was 5 minutes ago.
Yeah.
You know? So
good. Yeah, Maz is calling on me on my hypocrisy. Maz, just enjoy your little moment of victory, because they're few and far between, alright? Look, Jeff, is this one thing I can hang on to? It's my stubbornness. It's the one thing I operate out of spite, basically. It's how I get up in the mornings. So it's interesting to see people prefer numbers over community, I guess, is what that all boils down to, is that so many people have this misconception that just 75 average is the number. What happens after 75? What?
yeah, that's what I said recently. I think when we had our chat, but also someone else when they came in, because I think I was on at the time on my stream. I think I was on like 75, and someone went, oh, path to partner, and then someone said, oh, I said, what do you get a partner? And then chat started giving all their different opinions of what you get a partner. And I said, well, in my opinion, partner is my foot is on the bottom of a ladder. At the moment, I'm not on the ladder. When you get partner, then you're on the ladder, but you're at the bottom of the ladder. And if you're a streamer whose entire like ethos and goal-based system is, I'm gonna make Twitch partner. That's it. I'm gonna be Twitch partner. It's like, okay, well, what are your goals and plans after you've done that? Nothing.
What next?
Like, I'm gonna, so it's like, well, then what's gonna happen is Twitch partner and down, because if you don't, if that is your everything, and also I find if that's your everything, then you don't really have a reason for wanting it other than wanting it. Like, I want this thing. Why? Because I do.
I would like to speak in my defense of when I got partner and I had no idea what to do with it. It was, to me, it's because it happened so fast. Like, I started streaming seriously in October 2019, and I was partnered in February 2020. And it was more just...
it's like mad fast.
And I kind of came to a realization in the middle of last year that it had happened almost too fast. I hadn't gotten used to the culture, the work ethic. I hadn't kind of settled into content creation, and all of a sudden I had this status, and I was like, well, I guess we'll just chill with that for a little bit. Don't know what I can use it for. I remember I actually got the email with the invitation to the partner program while I was playing Sea of Thieves, so it was actually recorded because I was recording some footage for a little game compilation, and so you hear me like just open the email and just screech because I was just like, what? And then the next thing I say is, I don't know what to do now.
Now what do I do?
What do I do? So I actually got in contact with Tailworlds, and I was like, Tailworlds, you don't really know me. I'm just this little streamer that plays Warband, but I really, really love your game, and I just made partner. Could you help me out? And they gave me 10 giveaway codes for Bannerlord for the beta.
Oh, awesome!
Which is that was a really fun stream. I was just running around playing Warband and like just handing out codes to Bannerlord. That was a fun stream. a lot.
I love Bandlord when it came out. Although it was my first ever time going like viral on Reddit. I did a picture of me wearing my sort of early Norman / late Danelaw period helmet, and it was like a selfie like that, and it was my kingdom, and I just captured a castle, and my king had once again given it to himself. And it was the caption was my face when my lord once again gives my castle to himself. And I posted it on the Mount and Blade Reddit, and it just blew the fuck up, like 10,000 upvotes or something.
Yes. Oh, the Mountain Blade Reddit community is fantastic. It's a really, really lovely community. I really like it on there. And Britt, that's very true. Brett says that it's an achievement to become a partner. It's symbolic of your community engagement. You deserve a massive well done for nursing such an engaging community. I just talk a lot. Actually, that would be my number one advice for Twitch growth. Talk. That's it.
Oh yeah, like
That's
that.
the secret of Twitch.
There's nothing worse than
You
every
don't
now and
want-
again I'll get
don't
bored
want
and
dead air.
I'll go and just like drop into like a few like random streamers, and if it's just dead air, or like you watch for 5 minutes and all it is like loud keyboard clicking, like click 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 click,
Yeah.
click, 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 click. Or even worse, you go like, oh hey, and then you can see them going click, 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 and you're like,
Oh, I'm leaving.
why are you
Yep.
streaming? Why are you streaming? Like, I don't get it. But yeah, like I had there's a guy I know called Helping Hands, who's like probably one of the world's best competitive real-time strategy game players for games like Company of Heroes. And yeah, he's a partner, and people watch him because they want to watch very high-level gameplay of a very specific game. And he raided me the other day, and instantly a couple of people from his chat were just like, Jesus, this guy can talk. So obviously they've gone from Hans, who
Yeah.
is very much I'm not focused on chat, he's focused on being the best at that game.
Yeah, for sure.
They're not there for engagement, they're not there for chat, they're there for this is someone in the top 5 in the world. And then they come to me and it's just like blah, so they're like, ugh! Like, what is this culture shock? So I just thought it was really funny that like his community were literally going, my God, the man can talk.
Man can talk, exactly.
It's like yes, that's what I do. If you want intelligent gameplay, you have Hands. If you want verbal diarrhea, you have me.
Exactly. We've had a story time redeemed. Rum wants to know what my favourite memory of you is, which is rather difficult considering we've known each other
That
about
is
6
difficult.
weeks.
Yeah, exactly. 6 weeks and it's entirely like highly digital based.
Probably the day that I was down in one of my down spirals, and you sent me a message on Discord asking me to come hang out in your community night, and I came in muted, and I just sat in on your community night and we just watched your YouTube videos. That was a really fun afternoon.
Those really bad YouTube shorts
It
that
was
are like so
brilliant.
so questionable. Do you know a really funny story about what
Always.
happened during one of those? Okay, so for the reference of your chat,
Mm.
there is a guy. There's two guys, both of whom were massive. They made their careers off Vine when Vine was still a thing, and then to different levels of success. They took their fame from Vine and took it to other social media. One of them is a guy called Daz Black, who's got 2 million subscribers on YouTube now. And the other guy is a guy called Hugh Samuel. Now, the two of them are a directing writing team. They produce like short films on YouTube, but they also more recently have started producing feature-length stuff. They're currently in talks with Netflix for a film with Netflix.
Oh damn!
What was that?
I just said, oh damn, that's really exciting.
Oh yeah. Yes. If it all comes through for them, it'll be very exciting. Hugh wrote a comedy short called Once Upon a Time in Nazi Germany. And it was basically 2 American pilots had been captured, and it's a comedy about these 2 American pilots being captured by the Nazis during World War II. I know what you're thinking. That's this ripe comedy material. Anyway, so I've known Hugh forever. I've been in a number of his short films, and he cast me as one of the Nazi officers. But the way Hugh works with me is I don't get a script, or I get a script, but my bits are blank. So I'm improvisational. So pretty much he just goes, you just say whatever you feel is right in the scene, and if it doesn't work, we'll say cut. If it does work, we won't say cut. Anyway, so we're in this. It's a working yard. So it used to be a big stables, but now it's all been done up in different businesses. You've got like a recording studio, you've got a print studio, and we're in a barn, just an old abandoned barn, and it's very late at night, and we're filming this short comedy feature called Once Upon a Time in Nazi Germany. I am in a full SS Waffen SS uniform. And we're about 3 hours into shooting, and we get a knock on the barn door. It's one of those big, like, rolling doors, like one of them. So one of the crew goes to answer the door, and it's a big lad, skinhead, and he goes, "Who is it who drives the white Vauxhall?" And I go, "Oh yeah, that's me. Why?" He goes, "Oh, someone's driven into your car." And I go, "Oh fuck." Right. Okay.
Oh no.
Okay, great. So fuck me, really. So we've been filming for so long that I've forgotten that I'm dressed as a Waffen SS officer. We can see where this is going. So I walk out to where my car is parked, and this young guy, maybe 18, maybe 17 years old, has got his little like Ford Fiesta, and it's driven it right into the back of my car, and he hasn't moved it. Like his car is still in my car. So I come out and I'm like, what the fuck have you done? And he's like, "Oh, I've hit your car." And I'm like, "I can see that." I was like, "Right, do you want to reverse it out then so we can have a look at the damage?" So he goes to drive, and obviously he's panicking. I assume because he's hit someone's car, and I'm not exactly a small human. So he's like, "Oh fuck, this is scary." Again, forgotten that I'm dressed as an SS officer for a film. So he goes to drive it, but it's still in first gear. So he goes forward, and I'm like, "Are you good? Stop hitting my car." He's like, "I'm so sorry." So he puts it in reverse, reverses it out. So I come out to the driver's window, and his window's up. So I knock on the window. "Can you roll it down, please?" Can I have your driver's license? I'm looking back. I'm like, I have to ask this guy for his papers. Anyway, so I'm like, "Papers, please." No, the driver. Can I have his driver's license? I get his driver's license. I take a photo of it, the front and the back. Give it back to him. "Right, do you have insurance?" And he goes, "Oh, I don't know. This is my mum's car." And I'm like, "Oh, okay. I'm getting a better idea here. You've borrowed your mum's car." That's probably why he's so scared. He's going to go home and be like, "Oh my god, I've crashed my parents' car. Oh, I wasn't even meant to take it out tonight." I'm starting to be like, "Oh, I get why he's so nervous." Anyway, at the time I smoked, so I have a cigarette, and I go, "Cigarette?" And he's like, "No, I'm fine. I take photos of his car, take photos of my car. I'm like, "Right, look, I'm not going to give you any shit. My insurance will get in touch with your insurance. You can go now." And he's like, "Yeah, okay," and drives off. And so it turns out he was in a band that was recording something in the recording studio, just there, and two of his bandmates sort of stood there having cigarettes. And I go, and one of the other guys from filming has come out, a Chinese guy, also in a Waffen SS uniform, but he's taken his jacket off, probably wise. So I'm now talking to these two guys. I'm like, "Oh man, your friend seemed like really, really shook up." Again, I've forgotten that I'm wearing a fucking Waffen SS uniform because I'm filming a film. And one of them goes, yeah, I mean, he's Jewish, so probably why.
Oh,
And at that point, I'm like, "Well, that's a
Click.
weird information to give me." And then I look down and go, "Oh, fuck." So instantly I'm like, "We're filming a film. I even go to them like, "Look, can I show you the film set?" So we go. I'm making it worse. I'm digging myself a hole. So these two guys like, "Yeah, we'll come and see the film set." So we go into the barn, and I've not thought this through.
No.
So it's a barn. And so the back wall is where we're filming against. There's a camera, there's lights, and there's two guys in their underwear tied up. So I'm like, "Here's what we're filming," and they're like, "Uh-huh. We're gonna leave this barn now." So I'm still the director's like, "Who are those guys?" I tell him, and he's like, "Yeah, you made that so much worse. You just have left it as I'm an actor and we're making a film, left it at that. Now they've got no context, and they see that we're filming something with two grown men in their underwear tied up, and you're in an SS uniform." Just saying, you've made something bad worse. You're like that. You're like that guy who's like, "Oh, to put out this fire, I'll use a flamethrower." It's like, oh no, I've made it so much worse.
Oh my god.
So yeah. So anyway, we carried on filming. It was very, very funny.
That is amazing. Well, that was a good way. There you go, Rum. That was your story time, because that came off the back of me being like, yeah, that afternoon we spent watching you in little YouTube films. Oh, that was a good day.
Yeah. There's a few of them. We've done 2 as me as that Nazi character. We've done one as me as a very horny orc. He's writing a feature length at the moment, and he pitched it to me the other day because he wants me to be a character in it. I can't remember what it was. It's quite funny. It's quite funny, these the films he does, because everyone in it is basically famous. So like they're either massive YouTubers or they're massive on TikTok. I mean, all of them have got like 1 million plus followers. So like normally the day before, everyone meets up to introduce, oh, this is so and so, they're playing X. This is the director. This is, and everyone's like, oh yeah, I'm so and so on, this is so and so on YouTube, 1 million followers. This is Daz Black on YouTube, 2 million followers. This is DustMonkey. You've never heard of him. This is another guy over here. So literally, I'm stood there like everyone there's like, oh, so how many views did your last TikTok get? And I'm like 10. I don't know. I don't count. Or like none. And they're like, why are you here? And I'm like, you have to ask you. Apparently, I improv very well. I don't know.
There you go. Also, that story did just get clipped by my chat, so you're welcome.
Oh, awesome, good. I mean, the film's still on YouTube. I was
gonna say, feel free to post the YouTube link into chat. You'll be able to post links. So if anyone wants to go over and see the result of this story we're talking about.
Yeah. I will show you the exact short film. It is called Once Upon a Time in Nazi Germany.
Post it on in, and they can all watch it in their own time. Like all of you. What do you mean, hamster? I don't remember what I said.
There we go. That is the link to Once Upon a Time in Nazi Germany.
There you go, chat. So if you want to know the end result from that story, it was a very funny little short.
Yeah. It's also very important to remember contextually that all of my lines are improvised.
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely. If anyone, hamster. Well, there you go. It is, however, getting quite late, so I'm going to let you get on with your day, sir, and I'm going to wind this up. They're all gone to watch the video now anyway.
Everyone's like, fuck this.
Ragnar has said, DustMonkey, I possess underwear if you ever need a co-star. There you go, there's a glowing testimony.
I'll put you on the short list for sure. I mean, people who own underwear are in short supply.
Absolutely. Every time I do these interviews, I always forget in like the in the before call to tell you how it's going to wind up. So basically, I'm just going to say bye and hang up on stream, pretty much. So I'll just let you go and get on with your day.
Yeah, that's fine.
Quite honestly. But honestly, thank you so much, man. It's been an absolute pleasure to speak to you. Thank you so much for coming on the podcast tonight.
Well, thanks for having me. It's been a blast. And thanks to your community for putting up with me. Yeah, it's very
yes,
kind
I dare say, Talon did say before that he was leaving me for you, and I haven't seen him since. So you may have Red Talon 19 in your chat from now on, but he's an absolutely
I look forward to looking
person,
after him for you.
Thank you. Do take good care of him. What time does Dust usually stream? That's a good point.
I am so Sunday through to Thursday, 9:45 p.m. GMT. So Sunday night, Monday night, Tuesday night, Wednesday night, Thursday night, 9:45 p.m. GMT start time. I normally finish around 1 a.m. UK time.
Yeah, that sounds about right. So morning times for me, and I don't know how to translate it into the Americas. Yes.
It depends where they are. The America's got too many time zones. Like 6-hour difference depending on the coast or something ridiculous.
Absolutely. Alrighty, I'll let you go, man. But again, thank you a heckin' lot, and I'll see you again soon, dude.
Thanks for having me. I'll talk to you soon.
All right, sounds like a plan. Bye. Oh, you guys, hang on, let me switch to the right screen. There we go. Oh, you saw our naughty quokka chat. Oh my good gravy. There we go. So thank you all so much for being my wonderful, wonderful community and making him feel welcome. He's honestly one of my favorite ways. I was going to say one of my favorite ways to spend the morning. One of my favorite streams to watch in the morning while I'm working. There we go. We got there in the end. That's this. It was an interesting story. There you go. Yeah, get those booty icons in chat. Fantastic. All right, chat, we are going to go and say hello to... What do you guys feel like? Do you want to watch some Bannerlord? Do you want to watch some Valheim? Do you want to watch some Warband or Darkest Dungeon? Those are your options. Not quokka enough. Oh my lord. It is Saturday, isn't it? I'm trying to remember if I need to get up for anything tomorrow. Thank you, Duck. Thank you. And I'm very sorry that I wasn't like as responsive to chat as normal. It is really hard when you're interviewing someone and then trying to like, yep. Ragnar, I'm working on it. I'm learning how to play Company of Heroes. I promise. All right. We want Nath. We always want Nath. Let's go and harass him and make him do... Did that work? Jukebacks, hello, welcome on in. Unfortunately, I don't think we can do... I don't think anybody's playing that. But let's go and harass Nath. Go and spam lots of redeems for him to do his orc balks. We usually get a free one at the beginning. The offer of coaching... Yes, thank you, Ragnar. Actually, Noob is coaching me in Company of Heroes, so that's a nice little tie-up. But anyway, you guys, thank you so much for hanging out tonight, and I'll see you Monday night. I'm not sure what we're going to play yet, but we'll find something to play. And yes, you do have shields, Duke. Yes, you do. And yes, thank you for pinging all of the pings, darlings. But I will see you guys again very, very soon. I'll see you on Monday, most likely, if not in the community beforehand. Good night, everyone, and much, much love to all of you. Good night.